Chapter 5:16. After the Netherworld sect released the news, Wang Daoyuan also received a message from Luo Jiuyou, telling him to prepare to head to the Netherworld sect to receive his title. Half a day later, a 60-meter-long low-grade 4th-grade flying warship arrived from the west of Jade Spring Peak. This item should have been purchased from the Divine Armament Pavilion, as there were very few powers capable of refining 4th-grade flying warships. Only the Divine Weapon Pavilion was able to refine them on a large scale and sell them to other forces. 6 late-stage Zifu disciples walked down from the warship, all dressed in the black ceremonial robes of the Netherworld sect's elders. They stood on either side of the warship's entrance. Soon after, another peak Zifu disciple walked down from the warship. Wang Daoyuan had already walked out of his cave, dressed in the black ceremonial robes of the Netherworld sect, and was waiting by the Jade Dragon Spring. The peak Zifu disciple walked up and bowed. "Greetings, Grand Elder. We have come on the orders of the sect master to welcome Grand Elder." Wang Daoyuan didn't say anything. He nodded and followed the elder onto the flying warship. The other 6 elders followed behind as well. A low-grade 4th-grade flying warship was capable of fighting against an early-stage Jindan cultivator head-on. Naturally, its speed wasn't inferior either, and it was even slightly faster than an early-stage Jindan cultivator. In less than half a day, they arrived at the Netherworld sect's entrance. The Netherworld sect's entrance was currently decorated with lanterns and colored banners, and the cultivators guarding the entrance had all been replaced by Zifu disciples. The warship landed outside the entrance, and Wang Daoyuan stepped on a 5-colored cloud, leaving the warship and entering the entrance. At this moment, 300 Foundation establishment cultivators were standing on the stone steps outside the assembly hall. There were also 20 Zifu disciples standing on either side of the assembly hall's entrance. Although the Netherworld sect didn't do things properly, they did a good job of putting up a front. They had brought out nearly half of the Netherworld sect's cultivators. Aside from the cultivators who were stationed outside, most of the Netherworld sect's Foundation establishment and Violet Palace realm cultivators were here as well. The Jindan cultivators didn't need to walk up the steps, so Wang Daoyuan rode on a cloud and flew up the steps. Every time they walked in front of a Foundation establishment cultivator, they would bow and salute. Wang Daoyuan didn't dawdle on the stairs for too long. He quickly arrived at the entrance to the Zifu Palace, and the Zifu disciples on either side of him all bowed respectfully. Luo Jiuyou and Gu Wanzong went to the door to greet them. Although the Grand Elder had no real power, his status was higher than the sect master and deputy sect master on the surface, so they had to salute him. At this moment, an elderly golden core cultivator with white hair and beard was sitting on the main seat of the main hall. This was the current first supreme elder of the Underworld sect. His name was Zhong Zhenyang, and his title was Zhenyang the Immortal. From his name, one could tell that this fellow's senior was not on good terms with the Netherworld sect. The 4 major surnames of the Netherworld sect were Luo, Zhong, Gu, and Ming. The ancestors of these 4 families were the 4 disciples of the founder of the Netherworld sect, the Netherworld Spiritual Master. The Nether Spiritual Master did not leave behind any descendants. After he passed away, these 4 disciples were the ones in charge of the Nether sect. The previous sect masters and grand elders were all from these 4 families. People like Zhou Qi and Lu Jinhui were disciples of these 4 families. Although they were also considered direct descendants, there was almost no hope for them to form their gold cores in this life. It could be seen that these 4 families were very xenophobic and did not give outsiders a chance at all. When Zhong Zhenyang saw Wang Daoyuan come in, his face was full of smiles. If one saw such a person outside the Netherworld sect, they would really think that he was a very kind person. Unfortunately, there were not many good people in the upper echelons of the Netherworld sect, and this fellow was no exception. He nodded and said, "Daoyuan is indeed a talent. No wonder you formed your gold core before you were 200 years old." Wang Daoyuan bowed. Zhong Zhenyang took out a golden silk scroll and read according to the content on it. That was to say, Wang Daoyuan's contributions to the Netherworld sect were all praised. After that, he praised Wang Daoyuan's talent, character, and so on. Although the golden core cultivators of the Netherworld sect could not wait to kill Wang Daoyuan. But on the surface, he still had a look of admiration, praising with sincerity. They were all old foxes for hundreds of years, and their acting skills were definitely not a problem. In the end, he solemnly announced, on behalf of the Netherworld sect's Grand Elders, I confer Wang Daoyuan as the 6th Grand Elder of the Netherworld sect and also the administrator of South Yan'an. He has full authority to deal with all the affairs of South Yan'an County, and govern all the subordinate forces of South Yan'an County and the cultivators of the sect. After the announcement, Wang Daoyuan bowed and accepted the title. Then, Luo Jiuyo and Gu Wangzong cupped their hands and bowed to Wang Daoyuan. All the Zifu realm cultivators bowed, and the Foundation establishment cultivators outside knelt and bowed. Then, a Peak Zifu realm cultivator held a jade tray with both hands. On the tray, there was a golden book, a black jade token, and a black jade dragon seal. This was the seal of a Grand Elder. The other Grand Elders only had a token and a golden book. The black dragon seal was Wang Daoyuan's official seal as the administrator of South Yan'an. He needed to use this black dragon seal to issue orders. Zhong Zhenyang picked up the golden book, the token, and the seal from the tray and handed them to Wang Daoyuan. After Wang Daoyuan took the 3 things, he encouraged him. South Yan'an County is facing the Sky/Mountain Range and the Northern Mountain Demon Clan at the same time. This is also the first line of defense of the Netherworld sect. You have a long way to go, and you must not let your guard down. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, I will follow your teachings. I will definitely guard South Yan'an County carefully and conscientiously. He was very disdainful in his heart. In the future, South Yan'an County will follow my surname. How can I not be diligent in running my own business? After the conferring ceremony, Zhong Zhenyang took Wang Daoyuan to pay respects to the Netherworld sect's ancestral hall. Here, the memorial tablets of the Netherworld sect's golden core cultivators were enshrined. Although Wang Daoyuan did not take this group of old fogies seriously, he still pretended to kowtow on the ground. After paying respects to the ancestral hall, the conferring ceremony of the Supreme Elder was all over. After that, Wang Daoyuan did not leave the Netherworld sect's mountain gate. Instead, he went to the elixir hall to exchange for some alchemy inheritances. He now had the array formation inheritance left by the 5 elements spiritual master, the refining inheritance from his master, and the talisman inheritance was also a 4th level talisman inheritance. He was only missing a 4th level alchemy inheritance. Now that his family had become the master of a region, and in the future, it was still necessary to have a 4th level alchemy, talisman, and talisman array inheritance. Before he formed his core, he had been running around for the spiritual fire and the materials for his natal magic artifact, so he had no time to improve his attainments in alchemy, talisman, and talisman arrays. Now that his cultivation had reached the golden core stage, his cultivation would not improve too much in a short time, so he could take the time to practice alchemy, talisman, and talisman arrays. As for the affairs of South Yan'an County, it did not take much effort. As a golden core cultivator, he was a figure who could be called an ancestor anywhere in Xuxian. There was no need for him to care about trivial matters. Naturally, there were people who were willing to do all kinds of things. The Wang family now had more than 900 cultivators, and in these years, the family had paid more attention to cultivating the clan's strategy and ability to do things, so it was not difficult to find people who could be used. The Netherworld sect's specialty was refining artifacts, and it was refining evil magic artifacts. In terms of alchemy, it was really not very good. However, the alchemy inheritance that Wang Daoyuan exchanged was still quite brilliant. This was not the main inheritance of the Netherworld sect, but a part of the inheritance that he had obtained when he explored True Lord 100 Spirit's abode. He had spent 2 million contribution points to exchange for this inheritance. Then, Wang Daoyuan left the Netherworld sect's mountain gate and rode a cloud back to his family. After returning to Jade Spring Peak, he discussed with his 3rd brother and set the time of the Golden Core ceremony to be half a year later. The Wang family had returned to the ranks of the Golden Core clans and had become the master of a region. There would definitely be many clans who would come to celebrate, so they naturally had to spend more time preparing. As for the issue of the responsibilities of the Southern Yan'an County administrator, Wang Daoyuan only announced that the administrator's residence would be located in Qingli City. As for the other personnel arrangements, not a single piece of information was revealed, and they would obediently stay at Jade Spring Peak. He was giving the clans of South Yan'an County some time to make a choice. In the future, would they follow the Netherworld sect wholeheartedly, or would they obediently follow the Wang family? Chapter 5:17. When the fate of the family was decided, some joined the Wang family, some watched from the side, and some didn't care about the Wang family and followed the Netherworld sect wholeheartedly. Everyone knew why the higher-ups of the Netherworld sect didn't like Wang Daoyuan. It was still uncertain whether the Wang family could grow into the fourth power of the state of Zhao in the future or end up in disgrace. Those who joined the Wang family at all costs were sincerely following the Wang family. Such a family naturally had to be put in an important position. Those who watched from the side and didn't dare to bet easily were human nature. They didn't have the guts to join the Wang family immediately, and it was unlikely that they would have the guts to betray the Wang family in the future. Such families should be in the majority. Wang Daoyuan wouldn't put such families in an important position, but he still had to use them. As for those who didn't care about the Wang family, they could wait to be punished. The reason was easy to find. For example, the sword riding posture was too ugly. When the sword landed, the right foot touched the ground first. In a situation where one had absolute strength and great authority, it was very easy to destroy a foundation establishment clan. After the framework of the administrator's mansion was set up, those who joined first ate the meat, and those who watched drank the soup. As for those who were loyal to the Netherworld sect, they were part of the meat and soup. Although there were many spiritual mountains in the central part of the Qingli city, there were no high-grade spirit veins, so the Netherworld sect didn't take it seriously. Before, it had been managed by the Qingli City Guard. Even the Bailing City Guard didn't send anyone to stay there. The situation of the various cultivation families was also under the control of the Qingli City Guard. The Qingli City Guard was the 5th great uncle, and the Gold Goose City Guard was the 12th uncle. The situation of the families in charge of these two places had been investigated. In the entire Yan'an County, there were 53 families above foundation establishment. In the southern part of the Yan'an County, which was the former central part of the Qingli County, there were 28 families. In the central part of the Yan'an County, which was the former northern part of the Qingli County, there were 19 families. In the northern part of the Yan'an County, which was around the Gold Goose City, there were 6 families. The families around the Gold Goose City all had their family headquarters in the city, and they also had some businesses outside the city. The Netherworld sect hadn't had a big war for nearly 100 years, so there were still many foundation establishment cultivators in the families. There were more than 220 foundation establishment cultivators. Aside from the Wang clan and the Yang clan, the South Swallow County's Alchemy Celestial Mountains Shen clan had also produced a Zifu disciple in recent years, and his name was Shen Zhaoxing. He was only around 150 years old and was the son of the former head of the Shen family, Shen Hongchuan. Because the Shen family had offered the method of refining the Golden Thunder demon-destroying talisman to the Wang family, they had been doing business with the Wang family for the past few years and had benefited a lot from it. Now, the Shen family already had 7 foundation establishment cultivators. They were the 3rd most powerful family after the Wang and Yang families in South Yan County. After Wang Daoyuan returned to the Jade Spring Peak, he checked the situation of the various clans in South Yan County. In less than a day, Yang Yulan of the Yang clan and Liang Ziping of the Liang clan came to visit Jade Spring Peak. Following Liang Ziping was the head of the Huang family, Huang Mingchen. The Huang clan was really tenacious. Back then, they had almost gone bankrupt and relied on the Liang clan to survive. Over the past 100 years, in the territory of South Yan County, there were a few families that had collapsed, but the Huang family was still strong. Wang Daoyuan received the 3 people in the hall. After the guests and the host were seated, Wang Daoyuan asked, "May I know why the 3 of you are here?" As foundation establishment cultivators, Liang Ziping and Huang Mingchen naturally didn't dare to speak first. They both looked at Yang Yulan. Yang Yulan stood up and bowed. "Administrator, we know that you are in charge of South Yan County, so we came to pay you a visit. Is there anything we can help you with?" Liang Zipeng and Huang Mingchen didn't dare to speak casually and nodded in agreement. Needless to say, the Yang clan had been friends for nearly 500 years, so they naturally couldn't lack benefits from the Yang clan. Although the Liang clan didn't get along with the Wang clan in the past, they had been very obedient ever since Liang passed away. They followed the Wang clan's footsteps in everything. In addition, Liang Zian was married to the second brother, Wang Daoxing. A few years ago, the second brother used a piece of yin-yang purple jade and successfully opened his purple palace, but there was no sign of it. Liang Zian gave birth to 7 children for the second brother. 4 of them had spirit roots, and the most talented one, Wang Mingfeng, had already built his foundation. For the sake of the second brother, they couldn't mistreat the Liang clan too much. As for Huang Mingchen, he also had to be given a position. The Huang clan had a grudge with the Wang clan in the past, so they were given positions to reassure the other clans. Wang Daoyuan smiled. The administrator's residence has just been established, and the framework hasn't been set up yet. It's also the first time the sect has set up an administrator, so we don't have a reference. I still haven't thought about what to set up under the administrator's residence. I'll announce it after the Golden Core ceremony. Managing a county is complicated, and there are many things I need to rely on you for. This was a promise, and the 3 of them were delighted. Wang Daoyuan chatted with them for a while before the 3 of them bid farewell and left. Soon, the news of the Yang, Liang, and Huang clans visiting the administrator and leaving with joyful expressions spread throughout South Yan County. A few days later, Shen Zhaoxing of the Shen clan also came to visit. South Yan County didn't have enough Zifu realm cultivators, and their cultivators had to raise their cultivation as soon as possible. They couldn't stay outside all the time. Every Zifu realm cultivator had to play an important role. In addition, they had to consider the issue of balance. The Wang clan was in the central part of South Yan County, so they naturally had to put these clans in important positions. The southern clans of South Yan County couldn't be underestimated either. Without them, these clans would be disheartened. The Shen clan was in the southern part of South Yan County, and had the best relationship with the Wang clan. They could be considered a model for the southern clans. Wang Daoyuan also hinted to Shen Zhaoxing that he would give him an important role. He also left Jade Spring Peak with a face full of joy. The clans couldn't sit still any longer. Within 3 days, there were more than 10 clans who came to visit. Wang Daoyuan also had an idea in his heart. These 10 or so families were willing to follow the Wang family. These clans were all old clans, and most of them were clans around Clear Glass Market. They were also very familiar with the Wang clan's strength and style of doing things. They knew that following the Wang clan would bring benefits, so they naturally scrambled to be first. In the next few months, there were more than 30 clans that came to visit. These were the clans that were taking a wait-and-see attitude. They didn't want to get too close to the Wang clan. They didn't want to be punished by the underworld sect if anything happened to the Wang clan. But they didn't dare to not come. If they offended the Wang clan, there would be no future. This was also the way for small clans to survive, and there was nothing wrong with it. There were still 5 clans that didn't come to visit the Wang clan until the Golden Core ceremony was approaching. These 5 clans were all foreign clans. There was 1 in Gold Goose City, and 4 in the southern part of South Yan County. The foreign clans around Clear Glass Market had all followed the Liang clan in the past. Now that the Liang clan had admitted defeat, they naturally didn't dare to resist. As for the 5 foreign clans that dared to come forward, most of them had backers in the underworld sect. More than 50 clans had already taken sides. Wang Daoyuan also had a clear idea of who would eat meat, who would drink soup, and who would be boiled into soup. This choice would determine the fate of their clans in the future. The day of the Golden Core ceremony was approaching. Jade Spring Peak was decorated with lanterns and colored banners. Apart from those who had important matters to attend to and couldn't show their faces, most of the clans had already returned to Jade Spring Peak. There were now more than 500 cultivators on Jade Spring Peak, and about 20 foundation establishment cultivators. All the clans in South Yan County had been invited to this Golden Core ceremony. Those clans in the northern part of Heian County had done business with the Wang clan for more than 100 years. Naturally, they had also sent people to send invitations. The others were cultivators from old clans that they had dealings with, such as the Jiang clan and the Su clan near Thousand Rivers Market. Apart from the forces in the territory of the underworld sect, only the Divine Weapon Pavilion was invited. A few days before the Golden Core ceremony, Clear Glass Market had become lively. Many Zifu and Foundation establishment cultivators that weren't invited were also preparing to come and congratulate. After all, the Golden Core ceremony had a Golden Core cultivator preaching the Tao. It was extremely attractive to Zifu disciples. Chapter 518. On the day of the Golden Core ceremony, before dawn, the patriarchs of the various Foundation establishment clans were already waiting at the foot of the Jade Spring Peak. As the sun rose, the Jade Spring Peak became lively. Soon, 2 flying boats more than 30 meters long flew from the Jade Spring Peak and landed at the foot of the mountain. Several Foundation establishment clansmen of the Wang clan walked down from the flying boat and invited the Foundation establishment clans to board. Then, the flying boat carried everyone to the Jade Spring Peak. Wang Daoyuan scanned with his divine sense and felt that something was wrong. There were only 45 Foundation establishment cultivators on the 2 flying boats. There were 53 clans in the South Yen County. Apart from the Wang clan and the 2 Zifu clans, there were 50 Foundation establishment clans. Wang Daoyuan identified these 45 people. They were all people who had visited before. Wang Daoyuan was a bit surprised. He thought that the remaining 5 clans were only loyal to the Netherworld sect and would secretly oppose the Wang clan in the future. He didn't expect these clans to be so daring to show off their power to the Wang clan. Their courage was commendable. He scanned the foot of the mountain with his divine sense and didn't see anyone from these 5 clans. Wang Daoyuan already knew the situation of these 5 clans. They were the Tai clan of Gold Goose City, the Kong clan of Random Stone Peak, and the Tong, Wang, and Return Wind Valley Pass. The founder of the Tai clan of Gold Goose City was a foreign Zifu disciple elder who had passed away. The Tai clan had a Foundation establishment cultivator who was a disciple of a Zifu disciple elder of the Jin clan. Since the death of Elder Jin, the Jin clan's strength had been greatly reduced. However, there were still 2 Zifu disciples who were leaders of the foreign clan. The Tai clan felt that Wang Daoyuan wouldn't dare to touch them because of the Jin clan. The Kong clan naturally didn't need to be mentioned. During the small beast tide, Kong Tiansheng of the Kong clan wanted to trick Wang Daoyuan. In the end, he was tricked and the Random Stone Peak was almost flattened by the beast tide. After 100 years, the Kong clan recovered well. They had a Foundation establishment cultivator who was a disciple of a native clan elder of the Netherworld sect. The ancestors of the 3 clans of Return Wind Valley were just small fry from the foreign clan. They didn't even have a Zifu disciple. These 3 clans had always been low-key and didn't like to be in the limelight. They also had a good relationship with the old clans around them. His biggest conflict with the old family was the 100 Spirit Mountain Market. In the past, there weren't any big markets in the southern part of South Yen County, but there were some small ones. The Return Wind Valley Market was one of the largest. Returning Wind Valley had a mid-grade rank 2 spirit vein and a small river that led to the Clear Glass River. The location was not bad. Without the 100 Spirit Mountain Market, the Return Wind Valley Market would have grown into the commercial center of the southern part of South Yen County sooner or later. However, Returning Wind Valley was far inferior to 100 Spirit Mountain in terms of scale, spirit veins, resources, and water conditions. Unfortunately, it was too close to 100 Spirit Mountain. After the establishment of the 100 Spirit Mountain Market, the Return Wind Valley Market gradually declined and was now disbanded. The 3 clans had originally relied on the Returning Wind Valley Market Square to earn a lot of money, but now they could only starve. These 5 clans definitely did not have the guts to go against the Wang Daoyuan. It was most likely those bastards of the underworld sect's upper echelon were using them to test Wang Daoyuan. If Wang Daoyuan's attitude was soft, then these 5 families would be the sand that the ghost sect left in South Yen County. In the future, the ghost sect would have even more sand. The ghost sect only dared to play small tricks and did not dare to use force. Then, Wang Daoyuan could use force. These 5 grains of sand must be completely crushed to make the ghost sect give up. After nearly 100 years of peace, the clans in South Yan County had developed well and had many good things in their hands. This time, most of the clans took out rank 3 spiritual items. The few clans that did not take out any rank 3 spiritual items also gave out rank 2 spiritual items. No matter what the gifts were, these clans were very sincere. After putting down the gifts, everyone entered the hall. After bowing to Wang Daoyuan, they went to the Wang clan's meeting hall and sat down temporarily. The hall was reserved to entertain the Golden Core and Purple Mansion Realm cultivators. These Foundation Establishment cultivators naturally had to go elsewhere. After that, the third brother, Wang Daochang, drove a flying boat and brought Yang Yulin and Shen Zhaoxing to the Jade Spring Peak. After the two of them gave their gifts, they went to the hall and bowed to Wang Daoyuan. The 12th uncle led them to the back row of the hall and sat down, while the 5th uncle accompanied them to chat. Then, some of the old clans affiliated to the ghost sect also came to congratulate them, such as the Li clan in the northern part of the Heian County. There were also the Su clan, the Jiang clan, and other Purple Mansion Realm clans. Although they did not have any business dealings, they were also old clans and came to support them. There were many Foundation Establishment loose cultivators who came to join in the fun, and the Wang clan received them well. After all, if they wanted to cause trouble in the future, they would not have enough manpower to rely on these clans. They would have to recruit loose cultivators. They did not expect them to give anything good. It was good enough that they came to join in the fun. The Wang clan could also show their magnanimity. 6 Purple Mansion Realm loose cultivators also came. 5 of them did not give a list of gifts. Only a mid-stage Purple Mansion Realm cultivator placed a large gift box and a list of gifts at the entrance of the hall. The clan member who gave the list of gifts shouted, "Mirror Treasure Lake's loose cultivator, Lu Yuan, offers 5 rank 3 demon cores." This gift was something that the Foundation Establishment clans did not even dare to think about. Even the Purple Mansion Realm clans were a little envious. Wang Daoyuan really did not know when a Purple Mansion Realm cultivator appeared in that shabby place, Mirror Treasure Lake. However, the value of 5 demon cores was not low. After he became the military administrator of South Yanyan, he had to take out Foundation Establishment pills to win over the cultivators under him. The more demon cores he had, the better. The clan's cultivators and loose cultivators had all arrived. Only the Netherworld sect and the Divine Weapon Pavilion would definitely come. After a while, a black cloud floated over from the west of the Jade Spring Peak. Wang Daoyuan personally went to the mountain to welcome it. The person who came was none other than the Netherworld sect's vice suzerain, Gu Wangzong. Seeing Wang Daoyuan, Gu Wangzong cupped his hands and said, "Congratulations to Grand Supreme Elder for forming your core. I came to congratulate you on the orders of the suzerain." Wang Daoyuan returned the greeting and invited Gu Wangzong to enter. When they arrived at the entrance of the hall, Gu Wangzong took out several gift boxes and a list of gifts from his Qian Kuan ring. The clan member who received the gifts immediately bowed and took the gifts. He said, "Netherworld sect, 1 low-grade 4th-level magic weapon, 5 high-grade 3rd-level magic weapons, and 50 purple rhythm pills." Wang Daoyuan led Gu Wangzong into the hall and sat at the head of the table on the left. Not long after, a high-grade 4th-level flying warship came from the south along the clear glass river. When they got closer, they saw the silver 5-colored phoenix flag hanging on the warship. This was the flying warship of the Zhou clan. Wang Daoyuan immediately went out to welcome them. The flying warship stopped more than 10 miles south of the Jade Spring Peak. A young cultivator wearing a silver robe and a jade crown walked down from the warship. He cupped his hands and said, "Dao Yu is indeed not an ordinary person. It has been less than 20 years since we parted at the Hidden Dragon River, and Dao Yu has already formed your core. However, Dao Yu is not very nice. He didn't even send me an invitation for such a big event." The person who came was the crown prince of the Zhou country, Zhou Jingyuan. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the Zifu realm. It was only a matter of time before he formed his core. Behind him were two late-stage Zifu realm cultivators with gift boxes in their hands. Wang Daoyuan led Zhou Jingyuan into the hall. The two attendants handed the gift boxes to the clan member who received the gifts. Soon after, a voice said, "Crown Prince Zhou Jingyuan of Zhou Country, 5 low-grade 4th-level magic weapons and 5 low-grade 4th-level talismans." Wang Daoyuan was also a bit surprised. Although his master didn't lack 4th-level magic weapons, he didn't have the ability to refine them himself. With these 4th-level magic weapons, the 12th uncle wouldn't lack anything for his core formation Heavenly Tribulation in the future. After half a cup of tea's time, a high-grade tier 4 flying warship arrived from the north. A young cultivator walked down from the ship and shouted, "Dao Yu Wang, we went through life and death together. Why didn't you invite me, your old friend?" The newcomer was Xian Jiuxiao of the Archaic Mysteries sect. This guy's cultivation was also at the peak of the Zifu realm. Before Xian Jiuxiao entered, 2 auspicious clouds floated over from the south. Wang Daoyuan probed with his spiritual sense and found that they were cultivators from the Divine Weapon Pavilion and the Tai Sword sect. The Divine Weapon Pavilion sent Daoist Master Yunhe's disciple, Yu Buqing. Wang Daoyin and Wang Mingting were also on the clouds. The Tai Sword sect sent Daoist Swordless and Kuei Jian. Kuei Jian even shouted, "Junior brother Wang, why didn't you tell me about the core formation this time? If I didn't get the news from the Divine Weapon Pavilion, would still be in the dark." This shocked the other guests, especially the cultivators of South Yen County, who were seriously shocked. If they knew that Wang Daoyuan had a strong backer, even the Netherworld sect wouldn't dare to touch him. But they didn't expect his backer to be so strong. 3 of the 4 top forces of Beiyuan Shuxian came. The Crown Prince of Zhou Country, which was second only to the 4 top forces, actually came in person. The cultivators of South Yen County secretly rejoiced that they came to support the Wang clan. No matter what the gifts were, at least the Wang clan wouldn't look for trouble. The clans that followed the Wang clan wholeheartedly breathed a sigh of relief. They originally felt that it was a bit risky, but now it seemed that following the Wang clan was the right choice. Chapter 519. 2 auspicious clouds landed on the Jade Spring Peak. Wang Daoyuan stepped forward and cupped his hands. "Greetings, Senior Apprentice Brother Yu, Senior Apprentice Brother Swordless and Senior Apprentice Brother Kuei Jian. The Jade Spring Peak is hundreds of thousands of miles away from the 2 sections. The mountain is high and the road is long. Everyone is busy, so I didn't send an invitation. I didn't think it through. Please forgive me, Senior Apprentice Brothers." Yu Buqing looked to be in his 30s. His aura was stable, and his cultivation was not far from mid-Aurus core. It seemed that he had recovered well. He returned the greeting. "My Aurus core was shattered earlier. It was thanks to Junior Apprentice Brother's gift of the world that I recovered my cultivation. How can I not attend Junior Apprentice Brother's Aurus core ceremony?" Swordless Master was already at mid-Aurus core, and was still dressed like a scholar. He smiled. "After all, we have fought side by side. How can I miss Junior Apprentice Brother's Aurus core formation? Now that Junior Apprentice Brother has formed his Aurus core, your strength far surpasses those of the same level. I wonder if you can break my sword from back then?" Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. "Senior Apprentice Brother Swordless is teasing me. I was only at mid-Aurus core back then, and didn't know the strength of a Aurus core cultivator. Senior Apprentice Brother's sword contained your understanding of the laws, and there seemed to be a minor divine ability in it as well. You have already comprehended your own Tao, while I still have no clue about my future Tao. Naturally, I don't dare to compare myself to you." He wasn't being modest. Swordless Master was a true peerless genius. He only had his current strength with the help of external forces. Swordless Master didn't rely on the might of magic tools, and could display strength comparable to a late Aurus core cultivator with his early Aurus core cultivation. If Wang Daoyuan didn't rely on his life-bound magic tool, he wouldn't be his match in a battle of the same level. Even if he used his full strength now, he wouldn't have the confidence to take that sword from back then. Swordless Master smiled. junior apprentice brother is too modest. Even without minor divine abilities, junior apprentice brother's strength is rare among early Aurus core cultivators. Wang Daoyuan invited everyone in. They came to the entrance of the hall, and took out their respective gifts. The clansmen who sang the ceremony shouted, Celestial Mysteries Sect's Young Master Xian Zhouxiao, 5 low-grade 4th-grade magic tools, and 2 low-grade non-elemental formation discs. Daoist Swordless of the Tai Sword Sect, a copy of the Tai Sword Diagram. Kuei Jian, a disciple of Daoist Xianjun of the Tai Sword Sect, has 2 golden-eyed jade tigers of the 3rd grade. The Tai Divine Sword Diagram was the core legacy of the Tai Sword Sect. Legend had it that it was left behind by an ancient sword immortal. The founding master of the Tai Sword Sect created the legacy of the Tai Sword Sect because of his inspiration from comprehending the Tai Sword Diagram. The original copy of the Tai Sword Diagram was a supreme treasure for sword cultivators. A copy of the Tai Divine Sword Diagram contained the understanding of the Tao of sword cultivation of the person who copied it. It was definitely far inferior to the original. However, the swordless sage was the #1 sword cultivator genius in the world. The value of his insights was definitely not low. Those who were less knowledgeable did not know what the Tai Sword Diagram meant. Those who were knowledgeable were all shocked. As a golden core cultivator, Gu Wangzong naturally knew what the Tai Sword Diagram was. However, he did not understand why the swordless sage would give such a valuable gift. He had never heard of Wang Daoyuan having a deep relationship with the Tai Sword Sect. If the swordless sage heard his inner thoughts, he would definitely say, "Do you believe it's because of a favor?" As for the golden-eyed jade tiger that Kuei Jian gave, it was definitely the corpse of a demonic beast that he killed. However, it was not nice to talk about corpses on a joyous day. However, the golden-eyed jade tiger had the bloodline of the white tiger. The 2 corpses were also very valuable. The clansmen continued to shout, Divine Weapon Pavilion, 5,000 kilograms of upper-grade Tier 3 materials, 2,000 kilograms of lower-grade Tier 4 materials, and 1,000 kilograms of middle-grade Tier 4 materials. Wang Daoyuan had a strange look on his face. It was the first time he had seen someone giving materials as a gift. Yu Buqing smiled and said, "Originally, Master wanted to give you a magic tool, but Martial Uncle Lei Yan did not agree. He said that you have time now and can practice more refining techniques. So, I gave you these materials." Wang Daoyuan brought them into the hall. Gu Wangzong had already moved his seat tactfully. Daoist Swordless and Yu Buqing sat on the left and right seats respectively, while Xian Zhouxiao and Zhou Jingyuan sat on the left and right seats respectively. The Golden Core ceremony was held at noon. It was still early in the day, so several Golden Core cultivators were discussing the Tao in the auditorium. Of course, this Tao discussion was mainly for the others to ask for guidance. Daoist Swordless answered. Wang Daoyuan asked about some questions regarding one with the sword and minor divine abilities. Daoist Swordless did not hide anything and spoke of his own insights. Although others could not use it directly, it was still very valuable as a reference. Most of the Zifu disciples present did not understand what the Golden Core cultivators were talking about. However, if they could understand 1 or 2 sentences, they would benefit greatly. The Foundation establishment cultivators outside were like ducks listening to thunder. They did not understand anything, but they still carefully remembered every word that was said. The contents of the Golden Core cultivators' Tao discussion were all good things that could increase a clan's foundation. Soon, noon arrived. Everyone arrived in front of the ancestral temple. 5th great uncle read out the funeral oration. The Wang clan had once again become a Golden Core clan, and they were still guarding a county. They had regained the glory of their ancestors. By the time the funeral oration was over, it was noon. Wang Daoyuan offered incense to the ancestors and knelt 3 times and kowtowed 9 times. Then, the clan members bowed according to their seniority. 5th great uncle was a Zifu disciple who was almost 300 years old. Tears flowed from his eyes uncontrollably. Wang Daoyuan, Wang Shui, and the others had not personally experienced the most difficult days of the Wang clan. At that time, some of the talented clan members had sacrificed themselves for the sake of giving birth to a foundation establishment cultivator and preserving the clan's bloodline. They had willingly given up on the path of the Tao to provide for the clan's foundation establishment cultivator. He had relied on the sacrifice of dozens of clan members to succeed in establishing his foundation. Now that the clan had returned to its peak, their future would be even brighter. In his heart, he told the deceased clan members that their descendants had lived up to their expectations and had not let their sacrifices go to waste. Looking at the hall full of clan members, he could not conceal the smile on his face. Back then, he had never dared to imagine that the clan would prosper to such an extent. After the ancestor worship was over, the Golden Core ceremony was only left with the last lecture. Previously, the few Golden Core cultivators had discussed the problems that only Golden Core cultivators would encounter. The Zifu disciple was confused, let alone the foundation establishment cultivators. Now, the lecture was targeted at the Zifu disciple. This was also the segment that Zifu disciple cared about the most. Wang Daoyuan, Daoist Swordless, Yu Buqing, and Gu Wangzong had explained their understanding of the Zifu disciple realm and the laws. For late-stage and peak Zifu disciple, it was more valuable than any other resource. Those loose Zifu disciples had come here for the sake of this Tao lecture. 4 hours later, the 4 Golden Core cultivators had finished their lectures. There was no meal in the Golden Core ceremony. After the lecture, it was considered over. All the guests had also dispersed. Gu Wangzong did not want to stay here any longer and left with the crowd. Zhou Jingyuan and Xian Zhouxiao, as the successors of the 2 great powers, had all kinds of complicated matters and could not stay outside for long. After staying for a short while, they bid farewell and left. Wang Daoyuan personally sent them off. Yu Buqing's cultivation had just recovered and the Divine Weapon Pavilion had not arranged anything for him, so he could stay for a few more days. Besides, Wang Daoyin and Wang Mingting had finally returned home. It would be too heartless of them not to stay for a few more days. Since Daoist Swordless had given such a big gift, Wang Daoyuan naturally had to express his gratitude. Senior brother Swordless, I've only formed my gold core. You have already given me a lot of face by coming here personally. Why do you have to give me such a big gift? Daoist Swordless did not take it seriously. This is also Master's order. He said that if you owe him a favor, he can earn it back no matter how much it costs. There are a lot of things happening in the southern wasteland, so I won't stay for long. The 5 elements devil subduing seal that you have refined can restrain the devil race and devil cultivators. In the future, when something happens in the southern wasteland and I need your help, you can't refuse. Hearing this, Wang Daoyuan asked doubtfully, what's wrong? Something happened in the southern wasteland again? Daoist Swordless waved his hand, no. It's just that I haven't been able to find the reason for such a big commotion last time. I'm a bit worried. Let's not talk too much. If something happens in the southern wasteland, remember to come and help. After saying this, he rode a cloud and left the Jade Spring Peak. On the other hand, Kuei Jian did not leave. He was bored of playing in the southern wasteland and wanted to play in the Shanbei. Yu Buqing and Kuei Jian stayed at the Drunken Immortal Inn in the Clear Glass Market. Wang Daoyin went to pay his respects to his parents and brother, and also went back to his old house in Clearstream Village. Wang Mingting naturally went to see Zhao Liang and 8th sister. After all, it was rare for them to see each other once in a few decades. After the guests left, there was only one Mid-Zifu realm cultivator left in the auditorium. This person was Lu Yuan, who had given him 5 rank 3 inner cores. As the saying goes, one who gives gifts must have a request. He only came to listen to a golden core preach, so there was no need to give such a valuable gift. Now that everyone had left and he continued to stay here, he must have something to ask of him. Moreover, he felt that this person was somewhat familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before. Wang Daoyuan asked with a smile, you gave me such a valuable gift, and after everyone left, you stayed here again. You must have something to ask of me. Now that there's only the 2 of us in this auditorium, feel free to speak your mind. Lu Yuan cupped his hands and said, I was originally an itinerant cultivator in the northern part of the mountain. Now, the demons and half-demons in the northern part of the mountain are fighting each other. Purple Mansion Realm itinerant cultivators are either captured as scapegoats or killed by them. I really have no way to survive, so I want to find a place to settle down. I don't have any skills, but my fighting strength is not bad. I heard that Senior is in charge of a county, so you must be lacking manpower. I want to find a job under Senior, and I hope that Senior will allow it. The more Wang Daoyuan looked at this person, the more he felt that he was somewhat familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before. Suddenly, he thought of someone and asked, more than 100 years ago, the Ji brothers held an exchange meeting at the Mirror Treasure Lake Oasis. There was a person called Lu Yuan who used a rank 3 low-grade mystic ice jade essence to exchange for 3 black jade lotus seeds. I wonder what relationship that Lu Yuan has with you. Lu Yuan was surprised and asked, Senior, were you there at that time? Wang Daoyuan let his clone search in the space of the spiritual pearl for a while before taking out a sword hilt from a storage bag that had been there for many years. He took out the sword hilt. I wonder if you still remember this? Seeing this sword hilt, Lu Yuan took out a broken sword body from his universe ring, and the broken parts of the sword perfectly matched. He asked in surprise, Senior, are you that Wu Daoyu from back then? Wang Daoyuan took out the imperial magic pendant and said with a smile, the mystic ice jade essence that you found back then was refined into a magic weapon by my master. See if you still recognize this thing. After the mystic ice jade essence was refined into a magic weapon, its appearance did not change much, and Lu Yuan recognized it at a glance. He hurriedly bowed. If Senior didn't speak up back then, I wouldn't be here today. I'm willing to go through water and tread on fire for Senior, please take me in. Chapter 520. Wang Daoyuan hurriedly got up and helped Lu Yuan up. Apart from being in charge of South Yen County, he was also in charge of a portion of Guiyan Market in Shanbei. However, he had never thought of who to hand over the position of Guiyan Market's guardian to. Now that Shanbei was not peaceful, the risk of guarding Guiyan Market was too great. The 12th uncle's next task was to cultivate and form his core as soon as possible. 5th great uncle naturally had to help manage the affairs of the administrator's residence while 3rd brother had to manage the family's affairs. Needless to say, it was not a problem for 2nd brother to guard ordinary businesses. The situation in Guiyan Market was complicated and he could not manage it at all. It was fine if Yang Yulin and Shen Zhaoxing were not strong enough. They were the role models of the Wang family. If they were placed in Guiyan Market, it would be equivalent to exiling them. When other families saw how he treated their close family members, it was inevitable that they would have a grudge against the Wang family. Lu Yuan came at the right time. This person was able to enter the extreme frost icy plains and find the mystic ice chalcedony when he was only in the late foundation establishment stage. Back then, when he was in the foundation establishment stage, he was able to break a grade 2 magic weapon with his bare hands. Now that he was in the middle Zifu realm and could kill 5 grade 3 demonic beasts, he was definitely not weak. After wandering in Shanbei for so many years, not only was he living well, but he was also in the middle Zifu realm. He should have a better understanding of Shanbei's situation and would not be too stupid. Such a person was most suitable to guard Guiyan Market. However, this person's identity had to be investigated in detail to prevent him from being a spy planted by other forces. Wang Daoyuan patted Lu Yuan's shoulder and said, "You came at the right time. The administrator's residence has just been established and is in need of people. Especially Zifu realm cultivators, there is a huge gap." Then, he handed a communication jade talisman to Lu Yuan. "After I arrange the structure of the administrator's residence, I will arrange a position for you. This jade talisman can send messages within 30,000 miles. You can go around and I will send you a message when I am done with the arrangements here." Lu Yuan took the jade talisman and left gratefully. Wang Daoyuan sent a message to Zhou Wan and asked him to help investigate Lu Yuan's situation. When it came to gathering information and prying into the secrets of certain cultivators, no one could compare to Blood Shadow. While the scale of the Wang clan's Dark Hall wasn't small either, their standards were far too lacking. In the future, he could arrange for his clansmen to enter Blood's shadow and learn how to spy from them. After he came back, he had been busy testing and playing tricks with the Netherworld sect. Now, he still had a lot of troubles to solve. The matter at Guiyan City Square could only be put aside for later. All the guests had left. Wang Daoyuan had to think carefully about what to do with the house of the administrator. South Yen County was equivalent to a vassal state, and the families in the county were equivalent to ministers with fiefs in the country. In order for the country to be stable, not only did the royal family have to be strong, but they also had to take care of the interests of the officials. If he didn't care about their interests, the people inside wouldn't be united. Once the outside forces colluded, South Yen County would be on fire everywhere. Under such circumstances, it wouldn't be appropriate to follow the family's model. It would be best to first set up a simple framework and give the clans enough autonomy to win over the hearts of the people. When his subordinates had enough strength, he would gradually take back the power to the administrator's mansion. In terms of personnel arrangement, it was also a headache. The personnel arranged for each position had to have enough ability and balance the interests of each small group. He was thinking about the personnel arrangement with all his mind. Unknowingly, it was dark. At this time, a black shadow came from the northwest direction on a sword. When he was 30 miles away from Yuchuan Peak, the black shadow cupped his hands and said, "I'm Tai Rusong from the Tai clan of Jianghu City. I'm here to see the administrator." Wang Daoyuan's spiritual sense had already discovered this person, but he didn't know him. Now that he introduced himself, Wang Daoyuan knew the purpose of this person's visit. He probably heard that the three top forces and the crown prince of the Zhou clan had come to congratulate the Wang clan today. He knew that his family's backing wasn't strong enough, so he came to ask for a way to survive. Wang Daoyuan also wanted to know what promise the Netherworld sect had given them that the 5 clans dared to gamble with their lives. He transmitted his voice, "Tai clan master, come in." After Tai Rusong entered the hall, he directly knelt down in front of Wang Daoyuan without saying anything and kowtowed 3 times. "Administrator." This junior listened to the slanderous words of a villain and was obsessed with the idea of going against the Wang clan. This junior knows that his sins are grave, and it's difficult for him to escape death. "I'm willing to atone for my sins with my death. I only ask that you give the Tai clan a way to survive." Wang Daoyuan asked, "I'm a little curious. What promise did the person behind you give you that made you obsessed with the idea of going against me?" Tai Rusong quickly replied, "It was the 2 Zifu elders of the Jin clan who sent a message, saying that sooner or later the sect master will deal with the Wang clan. At that time, all the clans following the Wang clan will be dealt with. As long as I go against the Wang clan, the Netherworld sect will give the entire Jianghu city to my Tai clan after destroying the Wang clan." This junior was greedy, so I agreed to the Jin clan elders. Today, the 3 top forces and the crown prince of the Zhou country all came to congratulate the Wang clan. This junior knows that the Wang clan has a deep foundation, and the Netherworld sect can't do anything to you. Only then did I know that I was deceived. Wang Daoyuan thought for a while and said, "There's no benefit for me to kill you. Since you know how to repent, then I'll give you a chance. Go to the Guiyan City Square to atone for your sins. I won't suppress the Tai clan. The future of the Tai clan depends on your performance. You can go back. It's better to make a mistake than to make a mistake. It's more convenient to use someone who makes a contribution to atone for his sins." After listening to Wang Daoyuan's words, Tai Rusong let out a sigh of relief. At least his clan was saved. He kowtowed a few more times before leaving the Yuchuan Peak. A month later, there was a reply from Zhou Wan. Lu Yuan had some reputation in Shanbei. He often appeared in several large oases about 40 to 50,000 miles northwest of the Guiyan City Square. He didn't find out that he was colluding with other forces. He was also relieved. This subordinate could be used. He already had a plan for the 4 protectors of the Guiyan City Square. Wang Daoyuan announced a few important candidates to the entire Yannan County. First of all, the Yang clan's Yang Yulan would be the Qingli City Square's protector. The Yang clan was the Wang clan's most important ally. They were also the representatives of the central Yan'an County families. Naturally, they would be given a lucrative position. The Gold Goose City's protector would be Shen Zhaoxing of the Danshan Mountains Shen clan. The Shen clan was the strongest clan in the south of Yan'an County. They represented the interests of most of the clans in Yan'an County. Entrusting him with a heavy responsibility was also a reassurance for the clans in the south of Yan'an County. It was also a statement to them that the Wang clan wouldn't only use the clans around Qingli City Square. The position of 100 Spirit Mountain's protector was given to Liang Zipeng. 100 Spirit Mountain only had a high-grade Tier 2 spirit vein. It didn't need a Zifu realm cultivator to oversee it. It was suitable for Liang Zipeng, a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator. The Liang clan was also related to the Wang clan by marriage. In addition, the Liang clan used to be a foreign clan. In the entire Yan'an County, there were a total of 10 foreign clans. The Liang clan was the representative of these clans. Using Liang Zipeng was to tell these foreign clans that even if they used to be enemies, as long as they cooperated well, there would still be a way out in Yan'an County. The protector of Guiyan City Square was a rogue cultivator, Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was also a role model for Wang Daoyuan to recruit rogue cultivators. As long as they had the ability, rogue cultivators could also be put in important positions. The four protectors represented different identities and different interest groups. This way, they could balance the various powers and rope in more clans. In addition to these four protectors, the four major markets also needed foundation establishment cultivators and qi refinement cultivators to assist them. Among them, 100 Spirit Mountain Square needed 10 foundation establishment cultivators to guard it. The other three protectors needed 20 foundation establishment cultivators under them. These foundation establishment cultivators would be drawn from the various clans. Of course, they wouldn't be working for free. The three Purple Mansion protectors had a salary of 1,000 spirit stones a month. Foundation establishment cultivators had a salary of 200 spirit stones a month. Liang Zipeng was a bit special. He was both a protector and a foundation establishment cultivator. He was given a salary of 500 spirit stones a month. The remaining problem was how to integrate the Wang clan and the administrator's residence. Chapter 521. The balance between the family and its subordinate forces was also a big problem. If there was no integration at all, then the establishment of the administrator's office would be unnecessary. If the integration was too deep, it would be like turning the cultivators of other families and even the rogue cultivators they recruited into their own family. If a large number of outsiders entered the Wang family would change. In the future, when he left Beiyuan Shouxian, there would be no powerful person in the family to hold down the fort. He was afraid that the Wang family would be taken over. If the integration was too excessive, it would be equivalent to the families being annexed. The families also wanted autonomy, but they were not willing to be annexed directly. However, there were examples to learn from. The relationship between the royal families of Beiyuan and their subordinate forces was essentially the same. The royal family controlled the various forces through the imperial court. The only difference was the degree of control and the degree of autonomy of the subordinate forces. In the current situation of the Wang family, it was impossible to have too much control over the subordinate forces. It was better to use a force that everyone could accept first and then slowly tighten it. According to the previous ruling method of the state of Zhao, a court would be established, and some capable Zhao clansmen would hold important positions. Of course, people from the various families would also be arranged in this court. The various countries and the Netherworld sect before also collected taxes from the shops in the marketplaces. The tax was based on 5% of the business income, which was not low. If there were no benefits, the major forces would spend a lot of money to guard the various marketplaces. If the families produced and sold their own products, there was no need to collect taxes. In this regard, Wang Daoyuan did not need to change the policy. He could just continue to follow this policy. The taxes from the four markets were not small. The taxes from these industries alone were more than enough to maintain the operation of the administrator's office. What was needed now was to manage the finances and guard the various institutions, namely the Finance Hall and the Guardian Hall. The Guardian Hall was in charge of the guardians of the four markets. The Finance Hall was in charge of the taxes and the salaries of the various cultivators. Naturally, these two positions could not be given to others. The Guardian Hall needed a cultivator of virtue and prestige to manage it. The most suitable candidate was the fifth granduncle. There was no shortage of candidates for the Finance Hall master. The Wang family had its own Finance Hall and trained many people. Of course, as a hall master, he still had to have some prestige. Moreover, collecting taxes required a certain amount of force. Second brother Wang Daoxing was a very good candidate. Although he didn't know anything about finance, he just needed to maintain his deterrence. The current finance elder of the Wang family, Wang Mingji, was only a little over 100 years old. His cultivation level was at the middle stage of the foundation establishment realm, and he had been the finance elder for more than 10 years. He can be appointed as the deputy hall master of the Finance Hall and be in charge of the daily affairs of the Finance Hall. Then, he announced the internal structure of the House of the Governor to the public. The Guardian Hall only announced a candidate for the hall master. The four guardian envoys below had already been decided. In the Treasury Hall, the people in charge of the accounts were all members of the Wang family. More than half of the cultivators in charge of collecting taxes were from the Wang clan. At the same time, the fifth great-uncle also served as the chief steward of the governor's office. When Wang Daoyuan was not free, all the affairs of Yannan County were managed by him. In addition to these two great halls, he had also spread the news that he was preparing to build 4 more halls, including alchemy, smithing, and talisman arrays. The positions of the palace masters of the 4 palaces were used to buy people's hearts, while the deputy palace masters were given to their own cultivators. The cultivators working under him were mainly recruited from the outside. None of the clans were willing to place their own cultivators who were proficient in alchemy, tools, and talisman arrays in these 4 halls. Therefore, the main target of recruitment was still rogue cultivators. In addition to refining pills, refining weapons, and making talismans, the 4 halls were also responsible for purchasing these resources from the outside. Now that Shanbei was in an uproar, there was a huge demand for resources. No matter how many things there were, they could be sold. He did not plan to build the transportation hall. The transportation industry in the entire Yannan County was monopolized by the Wang clan. If he built the transportation hall, wouldn't that be stealing his own business? The transportation of all kinds of resources was entrusted to the Wang clan. This was also for the benefit of the clan. After the order was given, the various clans were somewhat moved, especially those who were particularly enthusiastic about joining the Guardian Hall. After all, the salary was not low, and there was not much to do. The Guardian Hall was in charge of the various clans and businesses in Yannan County. The Wang clan had a golden core cultivator, so not many dared to court death. If no one looked for trouble, the Guardian Hall could be idle. Taking the spirit stones for free and not working, they could also show their loyalty to the Wang clan. Why not? However, there were really some who did not know how to appreciate favors. The Kong clan of the Messy Stone Peak and the Wind Valley were planning to fight the Wang clan to the end. Not a single person came out. Originally, he wanted to send the cultivators of these 4 clans to the Guiyan market and slowly deal with them. Now, it saved him the trouble. Once the members of the Guardian Hall were all recruited, he would use these 4 clans to make an example out of them. The Iron Clan of the Gold Geese City had a very proper attitude. They had a total of 4 foundation establishment cultivators, and 3 of them had joined the Guardian Hall. After Wang Daoyuan released the news that he wanted to recruit loose cultivators skilled in pill, artifacts, and talisman arrays, there was quite a bit of movement in Green Willow Province. Some of the skilled loose cultivators did not want to continue staying in Green Willow Province and live a life where their heads were on their waistbands. In a stone room under Green Willow Province, Shi Zhenbang and a group of Zifu disciples were discussing matters. A young Zifu disciple said unhappily, "Big brother, you have to make a decision on this matter. That kid from the Wang clan has just taken office, and he's already fighting over loose cultivators with us. He's taking drastic measures. If it were up to me, we should have killed him back in the Hidden Cloud province. How could today's matter have happened? Shi Zhenbang waved his hand. Don't be rash. The Wang clan has never had any intention of acting against us. The reason we're recruiting loose cultivators is to strengthen our own power. If the Wang clan becomes the fourth power in the state of Zhao, when we rise up in the future, we'll have an extra helping hand if we rope them in. As for how to deal with the Wang clan, it's a matter of golden core cultivators, so we can't make the decision. I'll go ask the ancestor and do as he says. After speaking, he left the stone room and walked deep underground through the tunnel. An hour later, he arrived at a stone room. On the wall behind the stone room was an enormous tree root. Just the part that was exposed was over 20 meters wide. In the middle of the root, there was a screen of light that was 3 meters wide. If Wang Daoyuan was here, he would definitely be able to tell that this was the light screen of the secret realm's entrance. However, this light screen was not quite the same as the Yellow Spring's secret realm. It had the meaning of a formation and was very likely a man-made secret realm. Shi Zhenbang held a medallion in his hand. After injecting spirit energy, the spirit vein flashed and shone on the light screen. Then, he entered the light screen. The inside and outside of the light screen were two completely different worlds. The space here was extremely spacious, with a diameter of over 200 kilometers. The spirit energy was dense, and large amounts of spirit fields had been opened up. There were many low-level cultivators and mortals working in the fields. On the stone walls at the edge of the space, there were many cave abodes. Shi Zhenbang came to the entrance of a cave abode and said softly, "Ancestor, Shi Zhenbang has an important matter to discuss." In the cave abode, an old man wearing a fiery red robe with phoenix patterns sat cross-legged on a stone bed. When he heard Shi Zhenbang's voice, he waved his hand and the cave abode's door opened. Shi Zhenbang entered the cave abode and bowed. "Ancestor, that Wang Daoyuan I told you about before is now wantonly recruiting rogue cultivators. It has affected our plans. How should we deal with it?" The red-robed old man thought for a while and said, "According to the information you sent, this Wang Daoyuan is not weak and still remembers the Ninth Prince's kindness. His Highness has also instructed us to try our best to build a good relationship with the Wang clan. With the territory the Wang clan has, they can't take out many resources and can't raise too many rogue cultivators. Go meet him personally and deepen the relationship between the two clans. We can also expand our business. If we build a good relationship, the Wang clan will be of great use in the future." Shi Zhenbang cupped his hands and left the cave abode. Soon, the clansmen of the Wang clan stationed at Mirror Iron Mountain sent a jade talisman to Wang Daoyuan, saying that it was sent by a cultivator who claimed to be an old friend of the Hidden Cloud continent. Apart from the disciples of the sects, there was only Shi Zhenbang who was an old friend of the Hidden Cloud continent. Chapter 522. Wang Daoyuan used the jade talisman to send a message back and asked, "Why are you looking for me, Shi Daoyu?" Not long after, Shi Zhenbang replied, "Would like to discuss business with you." This piqued Wang Daoyuan's interest. The administrator's residence was newly established, so it needed manpower and resources. Out of the 4 halls of alchemy, smithing, and talisman arrays, apart from the array formation hall, which was relatively idle and did not require too many resources, the other 3 halls had very high demand for resources. The establishment of the administrator's residence was mainly to increase his strength and resist the next beast tide. It was unknown when the next beast tide would come, so he had to prepare in advance. The last beast tide was extremely fierce, and the high-level beasts had suffered heavy losses. The next beast tide would be much worse. However, as long as there was a beast tide with level 4 beasts, it was not something he could resist alone. In addition, the northern part of the mountain was in chaos. Who knew when it would spread to the southern part of the mountain? Therefore, he had to accumulate more strength to protect this foundation. If he wanted to recruit people, he naturally had to have sufficient resources. The only place nearby that could provide all kinds of resources was the oasis. Although it was not very stable, he could obtain a lot of level 3 materials. Each family had a lot of level 1 and level 2 materials for alchemy and refining. They could not even use them all, so it was not difficult to buy these materials. Moreover, the oasis's prices for pills, talismans, and artifacts were relatively high, so the administrator's residents could also make a lot of profits. With these benefits, Wang Daoyuan was naturally willing to do this business. As for the ban of the Netherworld sect, he could completely ignore it now. The Netherworld sect did not know about the hidden strength of the oasis. There were many families that did business with the oasis before, but the Netherworld sect had always turned a blind eye. Now that the power was in Wang Daoyuan's hands, there was no need to say anything. When he was conferred the title of Grand Elder and the administrator of Yan'an, it was very clear that he was given full authority to handle all the affairs of Yan'an County. Even if he did business openly, it was still within the scope of full authority. Wang Daoyuan sent a message to Shizhenbang. Meet me at Mirror Iron Mountain. With that, Wang Daoyuan hid his figure and left Mirror Iron Mountain. With his cultivation and the effects of the black magic robe, it would be difficult for ordinary golden core cultivators to detect him. After 100 years of peace, the number of rogue cultivators in the state of Zhao increased rapidly. It was impossible to support many rogue cultivators just by relying on the businesses of the various clans. Therefore, more and more cultivators ventured to the periphery of the heaven/mountain range. These loose cultivators frequently traveled between Clear Glass Market and Mirror Iron Mountain. The flying boats of the Wang family that traveled this route were also exceptionally busy. Some itinerant cultivators entered the heavenly/mountain range and did not obtain enough spiritual items, so they were too lazy to return to Clear Glass City. Mirror Iron Mountain was protected by the Wang family's array formation. The Wang family had left many people here. These rogue cultivators rested near Mirror Iron Mountain. If they were to use the Wang family's array formation like this, the Wang family would not benefit at all. They might even be attacked by rogue cultivators. Wang Daochang naturally wouldn't allow himself to suffer such a loss, so he built a small market square here. There were only a few shops, and they were all owned by the Wang family. There was an extremely spacious inn here, as well as a shop for elixirs, tools, and talismans. The clansmen of the Array Formation Hall had even set up a Tier 2 defensive array here. This small market square could bring in a net profit of tens of thousands of spirit stones every year. Wang Daoyuan changed his appearance and entered the inn. He asked for a single room on the second floor. Not long after, Wang Daoyuan's divine sense discovered that Shizhenbang had entered the small market square. His cultivation had not fallen behind. He was already at the late-stage Sifu realm. He was only a step away from the peak stage. Shizhenbang was not young. When he had fought for the Foundation Establishment Pill, he should have been around 200 years old. At that time, he was only 21 years old. Now that he was almost 200 years old, Shizhenbang should be close to 400 years old. To be able to cultivate to this level before 400 years old, there was still some hope for him to reach the core formation realm. Wang Daoyuan revealed a trace of his aura. Qi refinement and foundation establishment cultivators were completely unable to sense it, but late-stage Zifu realm cultivators could still sense it. Shizhenbang followed this trace of aura and arrived at the single room Wang Daoyuan was in. After entering the single room, he cupped his hands and said, "Junior Shizhenbang greets Senior Wang." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "Dao Yu, there's no need for this. You're much older than me. Our two clans also had some friendship in the past. If we're talking about seniority, you're several generations older than me. Let's just address each other as equals." When Shizhenbang heard him talk about the friendship between the two clans, he inwardly let out a sigh of relief. The Wang clan valued this relationship, so it was easy to discuss business. The great ancestor had instructed him to build a good relationship with the Wang clan, so it was even easier. Shizhenbang saluted and said, "Since that's the case, I'll boldly address you as Dao Yu Wang. This time, I came to see you on the orders of my clan's great ancestor. He told me to come and greet you, and while I'm at it, discuss the matter of cooperation." After hearing this, Wang Daoyuan pondered for a moment before suddenly saying, for you to address him as great ancestor, he must either have a particularly high seniority or be a core formation cultivator. When the three sects rebelled, the elders of the Shi clan all died in battle. Only the heir and a few bastards survived. They didn't have much seniority. So the great ancestor you speak of should be a core formation cultivator. Since you were able to receive his orders, then your core formation great ancestor should be near the Green Willow region. There aren't many places to hide people, so your great ancestor should be in the Green Willow region. To be able to hide a core formation cultivator, the demon beasts in the Tianzhan mountain range and the core formation cultivators of the three sects didn't notice. There must be a secret realm. I was wondering why the big willow tree in the Green Willow region was so strange. Such a big willow tree was actually an unrated spiritual plant. It seems like there's something fishy about it. Hearing this, Shi Zhenbang broke out in cold sweat. With just one sentence, he had been able to guess the biggest secret of the Green Willow region. Seeing his fearful appearance, Wang Daoyuan chuckled and said, "Daoyu doesn't need to be so afraid. The matter of the Green Willow region hiding a core formation cultivator, I had already guessed it when I was in the Hidden Cloud region. More than 100 years ago, Shi Xingguo went to the Guiyuan sword sect to see a young Master Zhao. That young Master Zhao should be from the Sixth Prince's bloodline. There's also the Xianyi market in Shanbei. I once traveled there and met a person called Zhao Qi. I think this person looks a bit like Shi Xingguo. He should also be a descendant of the Ninth Prince. If I wanted to tell, I wouldn't have to wait until today." This time, Shi Zhenbang was even more afraid and quickly changed the topic. "I came this time to talk to you about the cooperation between the two families. I heard that the administrator's residence wants to recruit rogue cultivators who are proficient in pill, tools, and talisman arrays. We want to cooperate with the administrator's residence and use materials and spirit stones to exchange for pills, talismans, and other resources, as well as spirit grains. According to the previous agreement with the Wang family, we can raise the price by 50% according to the market price. What do you think?" Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "According to the previous agreement, there's no problem. However, I can buy the pills, talismans, and magic tools produced in the entire South Yen region. How much can you take?" Shi Zhenbang said confidently, "As much as you can take out, we can take it all." Although Shi Zhenbang's tone was not small, he was not bragging. Now that the number of rogue cultivators had soared, the entire South Yen region, including the Green Willow region, had many people and few resources. There were many cultivators who went to the Green Willow region to make a living. When exploring the 100 Spirit Immortals cave, Wang Daoyuan estimated that there were more than 100,000 rogue cultivators near the Green Willow region. After so many years, there must be an increase. Nearly 200,000 rogue cultivators, even if they were all Qi refinement cultivators, would need hundreds of spirit stones, pills, talismans, and magic tools to cultivate a year. In this way, the annual demand for resources would be millions of spirit stones. Just the profits alone would be in the millions of spirit stones. Such a big business would also be tempted by the three sects of the Zhao state. Of course, the entire South Yen region could not take in such a big market. In the future, they could buy some pills and other resources from the Wanshuan market. After all, they could do business not only here, but also in the Guiyuan market. Wang Daoyuan did not scare him anymore and said, "Then there's no problem, but I have to add one more condition. The Green Willow region can only buy things from the Wang family and the administrator's mansion. I will open a shop here in the name of the administrator's mansion. All future transactions will be done in this shop. Those who come to trade will bring your Shi family's token. I will take the pressure from the underworld sect. We can't let other forces take advantage of us." Shi Zhenbang agreed without thinking, "We'll do as you say. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave." Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "Go ahead. Also, send my regards to the Ninth Prince and your ancestor." Chapter 523. After Shi Zhenbang left Mirror Iron Mountain, Wang Daoyuan also left and returned to Jade Spring Peak. Doing business with Green Willow Province was under the banner of the administrator's office, so it wasn't appropriate for the Wang family to do it themselves. It was best to do this business through the administrator's office. In any case, it was the Wang family that handled it, so they could keep the good stuff and hand over the normal materials. The profits of this business were huge, so they naturally couldn't hand over such a big piece of meat to outsiders. It was better for the finance hall to manage it. Although Wang Mingji was an expert in finance, he had never done business himself. He couldn't do anything about purchasing, transporting, appraising the price of materials, etc. Wang Daoyuan took a few people from the family's commerce hall to enter the finance hall. They formed a commerce division to manage this business. The family's commerce elder Wang Mingkong was appointed as the manager of the commerce division. In the future, when the business grew, he would separate the commerce division and establish a commerce hall. He didn't need to manage these matters personally, so he left them to his subordinates. Purchasing pills and talismans from the various families, expanding the business to Wanshuan market, and trading with Green Willow province were all left to the commerce division. A few days later, fifth great-uncle sent news that there were too many cultivators registering at the Hall of Guardians. Originally, they only needed to recruit 70 cultivators, but 100 or so came, and no one was willing to give up. Wang Daoyuan gave a standard: no early foundation establishment cultivators, no over 200 years old. 20 or so cultivators were eliminated, leaving 80 or so foundation establishment cultivators. He didn't plan to continue eliminating them. Apart from the 70 cultivators guarding the market, the remaining 10 or so cultivators formed a war division under the Hall of Guardians. The war division didn't have any missions normally, but once the businesses of the various families in South Swallow province were attacked, they would take action. The war division needed strong fighting strength, so they picked out 10 or so cultivators with strong fighting strength and great potential from the 80 or so cultivators. Then they picked out a few people from the Wang family's Hall of Guardians to make up 20 foundation establishment cultivators. The war division's manager was temporarily held by second brother Wang Daoxing. As a Zifu realm cultivator, his fighting strength was decent. The remaining 70 cultivators naturally wanted to stay in Clear Glass Market and didn't want to go to Wild Goose Market. After all, that place was too far away from Qingli City and was located in the chaotic Shanbei region. Once they reached that place, their heads would be on the line, and they could lose their lives at any moment. Wang Daoyuan doubled the salary of the guards at Guiyan Market Square. Only a few cultivators who were close to 200 years old were willing to go. The rest could only depend on the distribution of resources. Coincidentally, the Kong clan and Return Wind Valley had yet to send any cultivators to join the Hall of Guardians. Wang Daoyuan immediately sent someone to deliver a message, ordering the 4 clans to send 10 foundation establishment cultivators to guard Guiyan Market. The total number of foundation building cultivators in these 4 clans was only 13. If they were to pull out 10 of them, they wouldn't even be able to gather one housekeeper from each clan. These 4 clans were all very unyielding and planned to fight to the death. None of them accepted Wang Daoyuan's orders. Wang Daoyuan was very gratified to see the 4 families so courageous. Originally, he wanted to send all the foundation establishment cultivators of the 4 clans to Guiyan City Square and slowly exhaust them. Now that they dared to jump out directly, it saved him a lot of effort. He could just eliminate them directly. A new broom sweeps clean, but until now, he hadn't even started a single fire. It just so happened that the Hall of Guardians was already in place. It was also time to practice. Wang Daoyuan personally rushed to the administrator's mansion in Clear Glass Market and arrived at the Hall of Guardians. At this time, the cultivators guarding the other 3 markets had already left to take up their posts. There were still 40 foundation establishment cultivators and Wang Daoxing, the Zifu realm cultivator, left. Seeing Wang Daoyuan walk in, everyone bowed one after another. Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. I came here today to transfer you all to Clean House. Right now, the Kong clan, Return Wind Valley Pass, Tong and Wang clans in the southern part of South Yen County are not listening to my orders. The South Yen County Administrator's mansion has just been established and there are already clans that dare to disobey orders. If I don't punish them, I'm afraid that no one will take me seriously in the future. I've decided to mobilize all the cultivators of the Expedition Division and head to South Yen County to quell the rebellion. If you can kill a Foundation Establishment cultivator, you'll be rewarded with 5,000 spirit stones. The spirit stones from the treasuries of the 4 clans will belong to whoever obtains them. The other spiritual items, including various spiritual plants, cultivation methods, spells and other inheritances will be confiscated. No one is allowed to rashly touch them. As soon as his voice fell, the cultivators of the Expedition Division were all overjoyed. Even if they couldn't touch the other spiritual items, there were still a lot of spirit stones. A Foundation Establishment clan would have at least 20 to 30,000 spirit stones on hand. The 4 clans added together would have more than 100,000 spirit stones. If 20 people were divided, each person would be able to get several thousand spirit stones. Wang Daoxing took out a flying boat that was over 100 feet long and flew towards the south with 20 cultivators on board. Wang Daoyuan naturally wouldn't do it himself if he only wanted to wipe out a few Foundation Establishment clans. This target was actually very suitable for practice. It could also train his second brother's ability to handle matters. Wang Daoxing hadn't lived in vain for the past 200 years. Although he was still very warlike, he was no longer the hothead of the past. Between the Kong clan's Messy Rocks Peak and Return Wind Valley, he chose to attack the isolated and helpless Messy Rocks Peak first before attacking the troublesome Return Wind Valley. He sent a message to Liang Zipeng, who was stationed at the 100 Spirit Mountain Market, to keep an eye on Return Wind Valley. Wang Daoxing's flying boat was a third-grade low-grade flying boat. It could travel 4,000 miles in 2 hours. Under his full power, it headed straight for Messy Rocks Peak. When the Kong clan cultivators noticed it, the flying boat was only 40 to 50 miles away from Messy Rocks Peak. At this distance, the flying boat rushed to Messy Rocks Peak in less than 200 breaths of time. The Kong clan cultivators were flustered. They didn't even have time to open the defensive formation before the flying boat rushed in. The Kong clan only had 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators. One of them had joined the Netherworld sect. Without the protection of the defensive formation, the Kong clan's 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators could only stand guard in the defensive formation of the Ancestral Temple. The 20 Foundation Establishment cultivators of the Expedition Division left the flying boat on their swords and killed the Kong clan cultivators who dared to resist. The patriarch of the Kong clan took out a jade talisman and sent a message. Then, he roared at Wang Daoxing, "Although my Kong clan has offended the Wang clan, it's not a death grudge. Why does the Wang clan want to destroy my Kong clan?" Wang Daoxing said disdainfully, "You can only blame the Kong clan for being too stupid. You dared to go against the administrator just because someone instigated you. Don't blame the Wang clan even if you die. The ones who killed you are the ones who instigated you." With that said, he took out a golden heavy sword. This was his natal magic artifact. Although it didn't have a Violet Palace avatar, it was very slow to refine. However, it wasn't difficult for a Violet Palace realm cultivator to break through a small second-grade defensive formation with his natal magic artifact. A huge illusory sword more than 70 feet long appeared on the heavy sword in his hand. It was the sky-cleaving sword. Wang Daoyuan had long placed the Guiyuan sword codex in the clan's hidden scripture tower. Anyone could cultivate it. The huge sword slashed through the defensive formation's light barrier. The cultivators inside the light barrier were all killed by the sword chi. At that moment, the 20 Foundation Establishment cultivators of the Expedition Division had finished off all the cultivators of the Kong clan who dared to resist. After a round of looting, Wang Daoxing sent a message to his 5th granduncle, asking him to send someone to guard the estate. 2 Wang clan disciples were left behind to guard Rubble Peak. Then, he steered the flying boat and flew back to Return Wind Valley with 18 Foundation Establishment cultivators. At that moment, Liang Zipeng had also brought 10 Foundation Establishment cultivators guarding the market on 100 Spirit Mountain to Return Wind Valley. There were 11 Foundation Establishment cultivators in Return Wind Valley. The 3 clans' Spirit Mountains were very close to each other and could support each other. If it weren't for Wang Daoxing, a Violet Palace realm cultivator, they wouldn't have been able to take down Return Wind Valley with just 29 Foundation establishment cultivators. Even though the destruction of the Kong clan had been swift, the 3 clans of Returning Wind Valley had still caught wind of it and were prepared. At that moment, all the spirit mountains in Return Wind Valley were protected by defensive formations. The 3 clans' main spirit veins were even set up with 3rd-grade formations using formation discs. Now, even with Wang Daoxing, a Violet Palace realm cultivator, it would be difficult to break through Return Wind Valley in a short period of time. Chapter 524. Wang Daoxing knew that he couldn't break the formation in a short time with his own strength, so he immediately sent a message for help. Wang Daoyuan selected a few formation masters from the family's formation hall. After the battle at Wuching Pass, there were no more battles in Zhao. Although the family had many incentive policies, many clansmen went out to hunt demon beasts. However, there was a big difference between hunting demon beasts and fighting cultivators. Clansmen who hadn't experienced a cultivator war might suffer in the future. This was a good opportunity to let the younger generation of the family experience the baptism of war. Several clansmen from the formation hall went to Return Wind Valley under the lead of little uncle Wang Shouja. The 3 clans didn't wait for death. After learning that the Kong clan was attacked and destroyed, they immediately sent a message to their backers. They even confidently counterattacked and sued the Wang clan for violating the Netherworld sex rules by attacking their affiliated clans. The 3 clans' messages were passed to Luo Jiuyo through the Netherworld sex native elders. Luo Jiuyo was in his cave residence at this time. When he saw the news, he was angry. He handed the communication jade talisman to Luo Hongming, who came to ask about cultivation, and asked, "Look, what kind of people are we supporting? They even dare to sue Wang Daoyuan and ask us to deal with the Wang clan. They really think they're something." Luo Hongming took the communication jade talisman and looked at it carefully. He sighed and said, "Why are these foreign clans so stupid? They don't understand their status and the Wang clan's status. Letting them stay in South Yen County is to make trouble for the Wang clan, not to let them court death. Where did they get the courage to go against the Wang clan?" Luo Jiuyo shook his head helplessly and said, "Forget it, Wang Daoyuan isn't a good person. It's hard to rely on these idiots to make any impact. To suppress the Wang clan, we have to rely on the Heavenly/Mountain Ranges demons and the conflict in Shanbei. Anyway, with the Wang clan in front of us, we won't lose anything no matter what. Now that the old clans are rising, we have to rely on the foreign clans to suppress the old clans. You should go and save the 3 clans in front of us. Otherwise, the foreign faction will be bitterly disappointed, and they won't be so loyal to us in the future." Luo Hongming nodded and asked, "Wang Daoyuan isn't a pushover. It's not realistic to expect him to spit out the fat meat in his mouth. I think we can give up the territories of the 3 families and move the cultivators of the 3 families to the vicinity of the mountain gate and integrate into our local faction. This will also appease the other foreign families and tell them that as long as they act according to our intentions, we will not abandon them." Luo Jiuyo nodded approvingly and handed it a black jade token. "This is indeed a good way of doing things. My 200 years of training you were not in vain. You have to work harder so that when you reach the gold core stage, you can take over my position. I don't want someone with a different surname to steal our Luo clan's position." Luo Hongming took the token and drove the flying boat out of the underworld sex mountain gate, heading east. In the sky above Returning Wind Valley, more than 30 cultivators were constantly attacking the array formation. At the same time, they were talking and laughing. The 3 families had a total of 11 Foundation establishment cultivators. Facing more than 30 Foundation establishment cultivators and a Violet Palace disciple, they naturally didn't dare to leave the array formation. Wang Shouja led the formation masters and carefully looked for flaws in the array formation with a formation measuring disc in their hands. Wang Daoxing used the sky-cleaving sword, and the long sword in his hand turned into a giant sword more than 70 feet long. Then, he released the magic tool in his hand and controlled the giant sword to attack the array formation. He took the returning Wind Valley's array formation and used it to cultivate the sky-cleaving sword. At the same time, he shouted, "Little uncle, don't be in a hurry to find flaws in the array formation. Wait until I master this move." 2 hours later, all of the second-grade array formations outside the three families were broken. Only the third-grade low-grade array formation protecting the core area was left. Under the attacks of Wang Daoxing and the others, it kept flickering. The members of the three families in the array formation were constantly changing the formation disk with spirit stones. Half a day later, a flying boat landed in front of the administrator's mansion. Luo Hongming showed the black jade token and shouted, "The Underworld Sect Special Envoy, Luo Hongming, is here to see the administrator." Wang Daoyuan replied, "Come in." He was meditating in a rather luxurious room at the moment. Luo Hongming followed the voice and walked in. He took out the token and bowed. "The Underworld Sect Special Envoy, Luo Hongming, greets the administrator." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "You're welcome. Why did the sect master send you here?" Luo Hongming cupped his hands and said, "I'm here to plead for mercy on behalf of the three families of returning Wind Valley. As you know, the three families have disciples who joined the sect and have made a lot of contributions to the sect over the years. Now that their families are under attack, they're pleading with the sect master. The sect master can't disappoint his subordinates, so he sent me to plead for mercy. Please be magnanimous and let the three families go." Wang Daoyuan cursed in his heart. Now he was afraid that his subordinates would be disillusioned. Why wasn't he afraid that his subordinates would be disillusioned when he suppressed the Wang family? However, it wasn't good to say this out loud. He smiled and said, "When the sect master and the grand elders appointed me as the administrator of Southern Yanyan, they agreed to let me handle all the affairs of Southern Yanyan County. Now I'm recruiting cultivators from the three families to guard Guiyan Market. They didn't put me in their eyes at all. Not only did they not respond, they didn't even say anything. According to the rules of the Underworld sect, those who resist the recruitment will have their families exterminated. It's reasonable for me to flatten them, right?" The three families were too stupid. Wang Daoyuan had something on them. Luo Hongming couldn't argue and could only plead, "Considering that they've made great contributions to the sect, I'll spare their lives. If it doesn't work, I'll transfer all the foundation establishment cultivators of the three families to Guiyan Market and give them a chance to redeem themselves." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "I don't dare to use people who openly disobey orders like this. I won't allow any family that doesn't take my orders seriously in Southern Yanyan County." Luo Hongming sighed and said, "Junior has a perfect plan. I'll send people to take away all the cultivators of the three families and arrange for them elsewhere. What do you think?" Wang Daoyuan's purpose was to completely remove the sand that the Underworld sect had mixed in Southern Yanyan County. It didn't matter whether the three families died or not. He nodded and said, "Since you're the sect master's special envoy, I can't not give him face. I'll give you 10 days to take away all the cultivators of the three families. However, I'll say the ugly words first. Before sending out the troops, I've already announced that every blade of grass and every tree in returning Wind Valley is the property of the administrator's office. The resources and spiritual items of the three families can be taken away, and I don't care about the inheritance. However, if you dare to damage the spirit veins, spirit fields, and other properties, you'll be severely punished." When Wang Daoyuan made a concession, Luo Hongming also breathed a sigh of relief. If he wanted to compete with Gu Wangzong for the position of sect master in the future, not only did he need to reach the golden core stage, but he also needed to have enough prestige and support. If he wanted to have enough prestige, he had to do more things and gain more support. Now, he had rescued the cultivators of the three families from Wang Daoyuan's hands. It would be easier for him to gain the support of the foreign families in the future. Luo Hongming said a few more words of thanks and left the clear glass market for returning Wind Valley. Wang Daoyuan also sent a message to his second brother, asking him to stop attacking returning Wind Valley. The purpose of clearing the courtyard had been achieved. There was no need to go head-to-head with the local families for these few cultivators. Luo Hongming saved the cultivators of the three families, gained a wave of prestige, and gained the favor of the foreign families. It could be said to be a win-win situation for the Wang family and the Luo family. The unlucky ones were the Kong family and returning Wind Valley. Without enough strength, they dared to jump up and down between two golden core forces. They deserved to die. Luo Hongming transferred a few large flying boats from the Wanchuan market and took away all the cultivators of the three families. Wang Daoyuan sent out cultivators from the treasury hall to take over the properties of the four families. The properties of the three families were temporarily managed by the treasury hall, and the income they earned belonged to the administrator's office. Chapter 525. Although the Kong family and Return to Wind Valley were foreign families and did not have as deep a foundation as the old family, they still had a foundation of nearly 500 years. Previously, when the foreign faction was in the limelight, they wantonly invaded the old family's property. After the decline of the external forces, the Netherworld sect didn't have any major wars. These four families had developed quite well and had accumulated quite a bit of wealth. The spirit stones, inheritances, and resources he had obtained from the four clans were not worth mentioning, but he did have a lot of fixed assets. The four families had a total of 7 rank 2 spirit veins, and 5 of them were rank 2 middle rank. There were more than 700 mu of spirit fields, of which more than 100 mu were grade 2 spirit fields. There were also more than 40 mines and forest farms of various sizes. In addition, there were more than a dozen shops in Bailing Market, 1 in Wanchuan Market, and 2 in Qingli Market. The value of these shops was extremely high, especially the 7 second-grade spirit veins. Each of them could be used as the foundation of a foundation establishment family. Wang Daoyuan didn't care about the mortals left behind by the four families. He was still living his life as before. In the future, when these spirit veins had owners, these mortals would also be taken in by the newly established family. After all, mortals with cultivator ancestors had a higher probability of giving birth to cultivator descendants. The various clans also liked to take in these mortals to improve their bloodlines. Wang Daoyuan directly spread the news that in the future, cultivators who made great contributions to the administrator's mansion would be rewarded with spiritual veins, shops, mines, and other industries. Once the news was released, the number of rogue cultivators who came to seek refuge increased dramatically. The life of a rogue cultivator was far worse than that of a clan cultivator. Even the most powerful cultivators would have to lick the blood on their blades. When he encountered a tough opponent, he put himself in the middle of it. Obtaining a spirit mountain, establishing a family, and having children was the dream of every rogue cultivator. However, if he wanted to establish a clan, he would need at least a stage 2 spirit mountain. The state of Zhao had already been developed for tens of thousands of years. Outside of the heaven/mountain range, there were no ownerless spiritual mountains. Not everyone had the ability to occupy the spiritual mountains within the heavenly/mountain range. The Kong family's Messy Rock Peak and Returning Wind Valley were not far from Qingli River and Bailing City. There was also a waterway that led to Qingli River. It was also several thousand li away from the edge of the heaven/mountain range, so there was no problem with its safety. For rogue cultivators, it was the most ideal place to establish a clan. Soon, hundreds of cultivators came to register in each of the 4 halls of the administrator's mansion. Alchemy, artifact, and talisman arrays didn't need too many people. The various clans could only supply a large amount of low-grade materials for refining weapons. They didn't have many materials for refining pills. The materials for talismans were still manageable. The array formation hall required the least number of people. Wang Daoyuan planned to recruit 100 blacksmiths, 100 talisman masters, 50 alchemists, and 10 array masters. Since there were so many people here, he had to choose carefully. Foundation establishment cultivators had priority. Those with high levels had priority. Just like that, the 4 halls gathered more than 50 foundation establishment cultivators. The 4 palaces were temporarily managed by the Vice Palace Lords. All 4 of the Vice Palace Lords were members of the Wang clan. As for the Palace Lords, they would have to wait until more Zifu disciples joined them, or until the clan produced even more Zifu disciples. In order to appease the other rogue cultivators, Wang Daoyuan also expanded the War Division's establishment and recruited 20 Foundation establishment rogue cultivators into the War Division. The 4 halls of elixir, crafting, and talisman arrays were set up. Wang Daoyuan treated these cultivators according to the conditions of ordinary family employment. His success rate in alchemy, talisman, and weaponry was 40%. He would be given 200 spirit stones every month. Pills, talismans, and magic tools that exceeded 40% were bought at 10% below the market price. If these people dared to sell pills and other things behind the administrator's back, they would be severely punished. As for array masters, they were the type of people who didn't open for business for 3 years. Wang Daoyuan also let them refine some formation discs. The demand for these things in Green Willow Province wasn't small, and the demand for the Northern Mountain half-demons was even greater. Now that the administrator's residence was set up, Wang Daoyuan planned to let out a sigh of relief and deal with the gifts from the Golden Core ceremony. For example, comprehending the Tai sword diagram sent by Swordless Daoist. Kuei's sword's gift was indeed the corpses of 2 golden-eyed jade tigers. The appearance of these things was very similar to the divine beast white tiger. It was just that their eyes were golden, and the color of their fur was like white jade. The golden-eyed jade tiger was also a demonic beast with the bloodline of the white tiger. Although the concentration of the bloodline wasn't very high, it couldn't be considered a semi-divine beast. But its status in the tiger clan was equivalent to that of the dragon clan's snake transformation. These 2 demonic beasts were put into the space of the spiritual pearl by Wang Daoyuan and handed over to his clone Tu Yuming to deal with. The bones, claws, and teeth of the golden-eyed jade tiger were also extremely valuable refining materials. What Wang Daoyuan was most interested in was the blood of the golden-eyed jade tiger. After all, it was the bloodline of the divine beast white tiger. Using it to refine a rank 3 bloodline pill would be of great help to Yun Yi's advancement. The Thunder Ape, Yun Yi, Golden Wing, and Blackie had been staying in Fallen Dragon Ridge. The Thunder Ape had long awakened the Horned Thunder Ape bloodline and had now successfully broken through to rank 3. Its original black fur had now turned white. With enough strength, the Thunder Ape left Fallen Dragon Ridge and went to the depths of the sky/mountain range to look for spiritual items to brew wine. He had already found more than 10 kinds of rank 3 spirit fruits and spirit herbs, but he still hadn't collected the spiritual items to brew wine. This was at least rank 3 spirit wine, or even rank 4. This method of brewing wine definitely didn't belong to the Black Ape clan. The Thunder Ape had the bloodline of the Black Ape and the Horned Thunder Ape. If it wasn't the Black Ape clan's method of brewing wine, it was very likely the Horned Thunder Ape clan's method. Blackie was now a mid-grade rank 2 spirit beast. Wang Daoyuan used to refine pills with the blood of the fierce blood boar for it to eat. Now, its rank had already surpassed that of an ordinary black cloud wolf. In the future, he could kill a few rank 3 bloodthirsty grey wolves and extract their blood to refine bloodline pills. For a bloodthirsty grey wolf to be able to grow to rank 4, its bloodline must be extraordinary. Even if Blackie didn't have the bloodline of a high-grade wolf-type demonic beast, it could still become a rank 3 spirit beast. Golden Wing had always been a mid-grade rank 2 spirit beast. The golden-winged goshawk was a more valuable rank 2 demonic beast, but its growth limit was not high. High-grade eagle-type demonic beasts were not easy to catch. He couldn't even find enough materials to refine bloodline pills for it. It didn't have much hope of advancing anymore, so he would just let it be a sentinel for the family. Yun Yi was lazy and gluttonous, so her cultivation had been stuck at the upper grade of rank 2. Lord Bai Ling once said that Yun Yi's tiger was unusual. Yun Yi's tiger looked similar to the divine white tiger, so it might be a variant of the white tiger's bloodline. Although the bloodline pills refined with the blood of the golden-eyed jade tiger couldn't let ordinary demonic beasts obtain the divine beast's bloodline. However, if demonic beasts with the bloodline of the white tiger ate this bloodline pill, it could increase the probability of bloodline awakening. He could give Yun Yi a try. If it really had the bloodline of the white tiger, it would be a big profit. Even if it didn't have the bloodline of the white tiger, eating a rank 3 bloodline pill could increase the probability of a breakthrough. Wang Daoyuan took out a bottle of the golden-eyed jade tiger's blood essence, which contained an extremely strong evil spirit. These things had to be removed. Otherwise, the bloodline pill refined would contain a lot of evil spirit. If a spirit beast ate such a bloodline pill, its intelligence might be affected. He condensed a wisp of Tai golden flame in his hand and used the flame to roast the golden-eyed jade tiger's blood essence. The evil spirit was quickly calcined. A bottle of blood essence had at least 200 grams. After being calcined for 4 hours, its weight was less than 1 gram. There was a faint golden light flickering on the dark red blood droplets. At this level, it could be refined. The other auxiliary herbs were quite common, and Wang Daoyuan had already collected them. It took half a day to successfully refine a cauldron of pills, and 4 bloodline pills were produced. The bloodline pill was a rank 3 upper grade pill. He was now considered a rank 3 upper grade pill refinement master. Wang Daoyuan wanted to continue refining pills, but Lu Yuan, who was in charge of the Guiyan market, sent a message that a rank 4 demonic beast and a golden core half-demonic beast wanted to see him. The north of the mountain was now a sea of fire. If something was not handled well, the fire would spread to the south of the mountain. He handed the 4 bloodline pills to third brother and asked him to pass them to Yun Yi. Then, he rode the auspicious cloud and headed to the Guiyan market. Chapter 526. Wang Daoyuan arrived at the Guiyan market and entered the garrison. Lu Yuan immediately led the garrison cultivators to welcome him. The cultivators from the Netherworld sect who were originally stationed here had already evacuated. Now, only Lu Yuan, a Zifu realm cultivator, was stationed here. Initially, the Foundation establishment cultivators of the South Yen County were unwilling to be stationed here. Wang Daoyuan relaxed the age limit and increased the salary. Only then did they gather 20 people. Wang Daoyuan let the Foundation establishment cultivators go about their own business. He asked Lu Yuan, "What's the change in the situation in Shanbei? Why are there suddenly rank 4 demonic beasts and golden core half-demons looking for me?" Lu Yuan cupped his hands and said, "There's no obvious change. It's still on a small scale. It's just that there are more casualties and the demand for various materials is high. Our administrator's residence hasn't started doing business in Shanbei yet. The shops that do business with half-demons and demons are still the Netherworld sect's shops. Other than that, there are also some shops of small human factions. I'm guessing that they might be inviting you to do business with us this time." Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "That's easy. I was planning to expand my business to Shanbei. Come with me." With that, the two of them left the garrison and went to the Guiyan building. When they arrived at the 3rd floor of the Guiyan building, there were 4 people in the building. 2 of them were Hu Yu and Sang Yun, whom he had met last time. The other 2 emitted golden core aura. One of them looked similar to Hu Yu. He was probably a golden core half-demon of the Silver Fox tribe. The young man sitting with Sang Yun emitted a murderous aura and a bloody smell. He even had 2 blood-colored fangs in his mouth. This guy didn't look like a human or half-demon. He should be a demon in human form. Seeing Wang Daoyuan walk in, the half-demon beside Hu Yu cupped his hands and said, "Greetings, Wang Daoyu. I'm Hu Ling, the Grand Elder of the Silver Fox tribe. I didn't think that the last time we met, fellow Daoist, was only in the Violet Palace realm. Now, you're already a golden core cultivator." Wang Daoyuan also cupped his hands in return and exchanged a few pleasantries. The shape-shifting demonic beast at the side shouted impatiently, "Are you two done yet? I am the Bloodfang Wolf King of the bloodthirsty Ash Wolf clan. Now that you two are done talking, let's get down to business." Wang Daoyuan asked, "What do you two Daoyu want to talk about by inviting me here?" The Bloodfang Wolf King scolded, "You humans don't keep your word. We agreed to only sell pills and basic talismans to demons and half-demons. I found out that you humans are secretly selling half-demons magic artifacts and formation discs. You're helping the half-demons deal with us demons. You have to give us an explanation. Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, you have to find someone from the underworld sect for this matter. It's useless to find me. The Blood-Fang Wolf King said angrily, are you messing with me? Last time, the person who came to negotiate with Sangyun was you. If I don't look for you, who should I look for? He was a bit confused. He didn't know much about the situation of the human race. How could the same person represent the underworld sect in South Yen County? Wang Daoyuan replied, at that time, I represented the underworld sect to negotiate. Now, I'm representing South Yen County. I don't care who the underworld sect does business with. So far, South Yen County hasn't had any business with demons or half-demons. It's like how some wolves leave the big pack and form a new small pack. The small pack can't interfere with the big pack. The underworld sect is the big pack and I'm the leader of the small pack. Hearing this, the Blood-Fang Wolf King understood. The small wolf packs that were separated from his wolf pack could not control the big wolf pack. Fox Spirit asked, since Dao Yu has nothing to do with the underworld sect, is Dao Yu willing to do business with us half-demons? Wang Daoyuan replied, South Yen County has just been established and doesn't have enough materials. I'm afraid it's difficult to take out many things to do business with half-demons in a short time. However, if Dao Yu can sell some alchemy and refining materials, South Yen County should be able to take out resources to do business faster. The relationship between half-demons and demons was terrible now. Fox Spirit was too lazy to pretend to be polite with demons and asked directly, do you take demon beast materials? The Blood-Fang Wolf King slammed the table and shouted angrily, Fox Spirit, what do you mean? The muscles, bones, and skin of demons were refining materials. Blood and demon cores were refining materials. Wang Daoyuan really wanted to take some, but he didn't want to get into trouble. He replied, we don't take corpses. We take all materials that have nothing to do with corpses. Fox Spirit was a bit disappointed and asked, may I ask what Dao Yu can sell? Wang Daoyuan replied, we're here to do business. I don't care about other things. We'll sell whatever you want to buy. Fox Spirit's face lit up. The Blood-Fang Wolf King was unhappy. Demons below the 4th level couldn't use magic tools at all. If a large number of magic tools poured into Shanbei, the demons would definitely suffer a great loss. He glared at Wang Daoyuan and questioned, most of the demons can't use magic tools. You're helping half-demons by selling magic tools. Does the human race want to be enemies with us demons? Wang Daoyuan didn't think much of it. Is it the human race's fault that you demons can't use magic tools? Besides, you demons don't take us seriously. You captured us as scapegoats and you still have the face to question me? The cultivator next to me came from the desert in the north. He was chased by demons and had nowhere to go, so he joined me. Don't you demons owe me an explanation too? Wang Daoyuan didn't really want to be enemies with the demons. He just wanted to sell some 1st level and 2nd level magic tools. He definitely couldn't bring it up directly. However, the demons could accept it if he said that he wanted to sell all the magic tools first and then only 1st level and 2nd level ones. The Blood-Fang Wolf King was in the wrong and could only bargain on the level of the magic tools. He had no choice but to agree to sell 1st level and 2nd level magic tools in Yannan County. The final result of the negotiation was that Yannan County could sell pills of any grade, but magic tools, spirit talismans, and array discs could only be sold at 1st level and 2nd level. After the negotiation, Fox Spirit asked, may I ask if the human race has any methods to deal with refined corpses? Wang Daoyuan didn't know why he asked that and answered casually, is there a need to ask me about refined corpses? Among the demons and half-demons, there should be members with thunder and fire attributes. Especially those with divine beast bloodlines. Once they awaken a small divine ability, their strength will far surpass that of humans of the same level. What's a mere refined corpse? After reaching the 4th level, demons with divine beast bloodlines were nothing if they didn't have a small divine ability. Once they awakened a small divine ability, their strength would take a huge leap. Furthermore, the higher the bloodline density, the stronger the small divine ability. Just like the green-scaled flood dragon that he killed before, if it could break through to the 4th level and awaken a small divine ability of the dragon race. With Wang Daoyuan's current strength, he might not be its match unless he also comprehended a small divine ability. Fox Spirit sighed, how could I not know that the fire and thunder attributes can restrain refined corpses, but it's hard to find one in a short time. Previously, the demons and half-demons were fighting at Treasure Mirror Lake and accidentally discovered a secret realm. After they entered, they actually alarmed more than 10 4th-level refined corpses inside, and 3 of them were even high-grade 4th level. Those refined corpses often hunted demons and half-demons near the secret realm. Our Silver Fox tribe is less than 10,000 miles away from Treasure Mirror Lake, and the 4th-level refined corpses can come here at any time. Our Silver Fox tribe doesn't have the inheritance of fire and thunder attributes, so we can't deal with them at all. Hearing this, Wang Daoyuan was stunned. The refined corpses that he had been worried about were awakened by the demons and half-demons. 4th-level refined corpses could also fly, and they had developed some intelligence. Although they weren't high, they weren't easy to deal with. If it was a non-fire and thunder attribute cultivator, they wouldn't be a match for the 4th-level refined corpses at all. The demons and half-demons had some scruples and didn't dare to come to the southern mountain, but the refined corpses didn't care about anything. Wang Daoyuan could use the Red Yang True Fire to deal with the low-grade 4th-level refined corpses, but he wasn't confident about dealing with the high-grade 4th-level refined corpses. He still had to be on guard against these refined corpses, otherwise, if they came to the southern mountain, the losses would be no less than the beast tide. Chapter 527. Wang Daoyuan was happy to see the refined corpses consume the power of the demons and half-demons. However, the refined corpses were an unstable factor. They wouldn't go too far from the Yellow Spring's secret realm. Maybe they were used to staying in places with dense yin qi and death qi and didn't like the outside world. However, no one could say for sure if they would run around in the future. Moreover, the corpses of the half-demons and demons killed by the refined corpses were thrown into the Yellow Spring's secret realm. After a long time, they would also become refined corpses. Although they wouldn't be nurtured for long, the strength of the refined corpses wouldn't be too high. However, as long as their cultivation was high enough, the refined corpses would be extremely powerful. Such half-baked refined corpses wouldn't be able to defeat cultivators of the same level. It would be effortless for them to kill low-level cultivators and even ordinary people. He pondered for a long time before replying, once a rank 4 refined corpse comes out, it will be a disaster. Although I'm a penta-spirit root cultivator and can use fire-type spells, my cultivation is only at the early stage of golden core. I have full confidence in dealing with low-grade rank 4 refined corpses. If someone cooperates, I can barely deal with mid-grade rank 4 refined corpses. However, I can't deal with high-grade rank 4 refined corpses. According to what you said, these refined corpses only move around the secret realm. There are more than 10 rank 4 refined corpses in that area. Without more than 10 golden core cultivators, you won't be their match. I suggest that you demons and half-demons stay away from the Mirror Lake Oasis. Otherwise, if they keep killing demons and half-demons, it will be helping them expand their power. Hu Ling and the Bloodfang Wolf King nodded in agreement. After that, they discussed some details and went their separate ways. Although the refined corpses were strong, the spirit qi in the east of the Yellow Spring secret realm was more abundant. Rank 4 refined corpses didn't have high intelligence and acted more on instinct. If they wanted to flee, it was more likely that they would head east and enter the sky/mountain range. It wasn't a matter of life and death yet, so there was no need to disrupt their plans. If the refined corpses started to flee and drag those bastards from the Netherworld sect down, they would be extremely interested in the refined corpses. Since he came to Wild Goose Market, he should go and see Zhou Wan and settle his business. Wang Daoyuan went to the Divine Weapon Pavilion store and sent a message to his master, asking for some artifacts that could restrain the refined corpses. Then, he let Lu Yuan return to the Guardian's encampment. After taking a detour, he arrived at the underground branch of Blood Shadow. As soon as he entered Zhou Wan's cave residence, he heard her sarcastic voice, "Administrator, you are so busy. How come you have time to come to my place?" Wang Daoyuan walked into the backyard and said with a smile, "Aren't I preparing the house for the child? The preparations are almost done. When do you think we can get married?" This time, Zhou Wan fell silent. Wang Daoyuan asked worriedly, "What happened to the hall master?" Only then did Zhou Wan sigh and say, "I'm afraid I won't have the chance to marry into Jade Spring Peak in this lifetime. Elder Su's Su family is very powerful within Blood Shadow. There were more than 10 golden core cultivators, and there were even cultivators with heaven spirit roots. In addition to the disciples and old friends, they made up 1/3 of Blood Shadow's forces. Back then, I refused to marry his grandson, which made the Su family lose face. If I marry into the Wang family openly, I'm afraid the Su family will do everything they can to make trouble for the Wang family." Hearing this, Wang Daoyuan also fell silent. Blood Shadow's strength was comparable to the 4 top forces. The Su family's forces made up 1/3 of Blood Shadow's forces, which was enough to beat the majority of forces. The Wang family was simply unable to resist. After a long silence, he said indignantly, "When I reach the Yuanying realm, I'll go to Blood Shadow's headquarters and beat all of their cultivators into submission. Let's see who dares to meddle in my affairs." Zhou Wan walked out of her room. At this time, she was wearing a fiery red phoenix robe and a phoenix crown. She glanced at him and said, "Cowardly rat, how long are you going to delay?" Wang Daoyuan answered, "Hall Master is a golden core cultivator. If I can't marry you officially, I'll always feel like I owe you." Zhou Wan smiled and took out a red robe. "It's good that you have this intention. My Zhou family values etiquette the most. Although I'm from a branch family, I can't marry without proper etiquette. If I can't marry you officially, I'll skip the 6 etiquettes, but I can't skip the cohabitation ceremony." Weddings in the cultivation world were similar to the Qin and Han weddings in Wuxia in his previous life. The cohabitation ceremony was the predecessor of the wedding ceremony. It was similar to the ceremony of bowing to heaven and earth. The ceremony of bowing to one's parents and ancestors was on the morning of the 2nd day after entering the bridal chamber. Wedding clothes were usually black, but the Zhou family liked red. Wang Daoyuan changed into the red robe and held Zhou Wan's hand as they walked into the room. The room had already been decorated. There were 3 dishes on the table in the room. The 2 of them sat facing each other. Zhou Wan picked up the dishes and fed Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan ate half of the food, and Zhou Wan finished the rest. Soon after, she picked up a gourd and divided it into 2 ladles. The gourds were tied together with a silk thread. She poured wine into the 2 ladles, and the 2 of them drank half of it each. Then, they switched ladles and drank. After drinking the wine, the cohabitation ceremony was completed. Soon after, the 2 of them cut a strand of hair and tied it together with a silk thread before putting it into the cut gourd. This was the wedding ceremony. After the cohabitation ceremony, Wang Daoyuan carried Zhou Wan and walked towards the carved bed. The next night, Zhou Wan woke up. Wang Daoyuan was drinking at the table. When he saw her wake up, he asked with a smile, "Hall Master, according to the rules, you have to wake up the next morning to worship your ancestors. It's already night time, why haven't you woken up yet?" Zhou Wan said lazily, "Your ancestral temple isn't here. Where do you want to worship your ancestors?" After saying that, she pulled up the bed curtain and put on her clothes. After getting up, she felt that something was wrong under the bed. She scanned with her divine sense and found that the black tortoise shield was under the bed. She was puzzled. "Why did you put the black tortoise shield under the bed?" Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "Hall Master, you've prepared everything. Why didn't you prepare a sturdier bed? It's just a 2nd-rank spiritual wood, not even a magic tool." "How can it?" Seeing Zhou Wan stare at him, he didn't say anything else. He muttered in a low voice, "It's not all my fault." Zhou Wan pretended to hit him. Wang Daoyuan took out an identical wooden bed from the spiritual pearl space and said with a smile, "I've already prepared it. This one is sturdier." The new wooden bed was made of second-rank high-grade gold-threaded jade peach wood. It was refined into a third-rank low-grade magic tool. Zhou Wan's cheeks flushed red. She grabbed him and punched him several times before she stopped. Wang Daoyuan continued to stay here. The affairs of the administrator's residence were managed by his fifth granduncle. Everything was carried out in an orderly manner. There were some affairs that his fifth granduncle didn't dare to take charge of, so he sent him a letter to inquire. He just replied with a letter. A month later, Mou's doppelganger received a letter from Elder Su of the Blood Shadow headquarters. The Deputy Hall Master's command tablet of the Shanbei branch had always been with Mou. This letter was naturally for Wang Daoyuan. In the letter, Elder Su questioned Wang Daoyuan why he couldn't suppress Zhou Wan and let her form her gold core. Wang Daoyuan wasn't happy about this question. He suppressed Zhou Wan until she was obedient. Why couldn't he suppress her? Speaking of which, where did Elder Su get this information? Zhou Wan formed her gold core at the Snow Dragon volcano. There were no human cultivators there at all. Apart from him and Zhou Wan, only a few demonic beasts knew about this matter. Most of those demonic beasts died in the volcano eruption. Could it be that the Blood Shadow headquarters had some connections with the demonic beasts? He asked Zhou Wan about this. Zhou Wan replied, "Sometimes, the Blood Shadow headquarters also does business with the demonic beasts." The headquarters most likely got this information from one of the demonic beasts that they had cooperated with before. If they had an intelligence network in the demonic beasts, they wouldn't have only found out after so many years. A few days later, news came from the headquarters that Zhou Wan was appointed as the Blood Shadow Elder. However, she wasn't allowed to return to the headquarters. Instead, the Shanbei branch was promoted to a first-class branch and was in charge of the affairs of the Shanbei branch. The branches of the Blood Shadow were divided into two levels. They were the first-class branch and the second-class branch. The Hall Master of the first-class branch was usually a golden core cultivator with the title of Elder. For example, the Sanha branch of the state of Zhao was a first-class branch. It was in charge of more than 10 second-class branches in the state of Zhao. The Hall Master of the second-class branch could also be a Zifu realm cultivator who became a Hall Master halfway. The Hall Master of the first-class branch had to be a direct descendant of the Blood Shadow. There weren't many requirements for the Deputy Hall Master. Wang Daoyuan continued to be the Hall Master. Chapter 528. Regarding Zhou Wan's placement, the Blood Shadow headquarters policies were contradictory. North of Mount Huiyan, there was only one Shanbei branch. Zhou Wan was promoted to a first-level branch hall master, but her actual power didn't change at all. This was considered suppression. Zhou Wan's main enemy was the Su family, so this placement method was definitely the Su family's doing. Half a month later, there was news that the Qingli branch in Qingli Market was placed under the Shanbei branch. At the same time, Zhou Wan was also given the power to appoint second-level branch hall masters and vice hall masters. This was definitely a great decentralization of power. Ordinary first-level branch hall masters had the power to appoint second-level branch hall masters, but they didn't have the power to appoint hall masters. A few people without status didn't even have the power to appoint second-level vice hall masters. Only a few people with higher status had the power to appoint second-level hall masters. It seemed that the higher-ups of Blood Shadow still didn't like the Su family's power. Now that Zhou Wan had the power to appoint second-level hall masters, she could be considered a feudal lord within Blood Shadow. After receiving this news, Zhou Wan proudly handed the hall master token to Wang Daoyuan. "Little fellow surnamed Wang, I'm also the master of a region now. I'm in charge of the entire Shanbei, plus your underground power in Yannan County. It's much bigger than your territory." Wang Daoyuan pulled her over and smiled. Conquering a region is too difficult. It's easier to conquer the master of a region. How dare you speak rudely to me? Do you still have family rules in your eyes? With a strong waist, one's status would be high. Now that Wang Daoyuan was a man of his word, Zhou Wan immediately begged for mercy. After messing around for a while, Zhou Wan asked, "It's not suitable for Shanbei to expand wantonly. But Qingli Market, Hall Master Chen Zhonggang is one of Elder Su's people, and he's a direct descendant. Vice Hall Master Qian Feng is a loose cultivator. How do you plan to deal with them?" Wang Daoyuan said without hesitation, "Naturally, we can't leave them in our territory. Since Chen Zhonggang is a direct descendant of Blood Shadow, it's not easy to take him down. Don't you have the power to appoint second-level hall masters?" He asked him to lead his trusted subordinates to open a new branch in the desert oasis in the north of the mountain. Let him go to the place where the battle between the demonic beasts and half-demonic beasts was the fiercest. Let's see how long he could live. In any case, the resources issued by the headquarters are in your hands. Withhold all the resources that should be distributed and let him go to the desert to drink the northwest wind. As for Qian Feng, I'll control him, then let him become the Hall Lord. I'll arrange for a Zifu disciple to become the Vice Hall Lord. Wang Daoyuan planned to send his doppelganger Cui Ming out to take up the position of Qingli Branch's deputy hall master. Chen Zhonggang went to open another branch. Every 100 years, he would bring 3 pieces of yin-yang purple jade to Blood Shadow's headquarters. Zhou Wan said with a smile, "You have more and more tricks up your sleeve. Once we get rid of Chen Zhonggang and Qian Feng, Yannan County will be ours." He had just received his orders, so there was no need for him to take action immediately. He wanted to see if there were any changes at Blood Shadow's headquarters. Wang Daoyuan continued to live in the Shanbei branch, remotely controlling the administrator's mansion. His life was very good. The strength of the third-level low-grade magic weapon was also very high, and there were no more problems with the bed board. A year later, the 5th great-uncle sent news that Gu Wangzong, the deputy sect master of the Netherworld sect, had come to question the administrator's mansion about doing business with the Green Willow province. This made Wang Daoyuan very unhappy. The Netherworld sect was always looking for trouble. He was living well here, but they just had to find trouble for him and ask him to deal with it. He had stayed here for more than a year and worked hard to cultivate. His cultivation had improved a little, but his physical strength hadn't improved at all. If it weren't for the body refining effect of the cultivation technique, his physical strength might have decreased. After parting with Zhou Wan, he hid his figure and returned to Qingli Market. Back at the administrator's mansion, the 5th great-uncle accompanied Gu Wangzong in the meeting room. Beside them was Qin Bingda, the head of the Qin family of the Deep Earth Peak. When the families of Hundred Spirit Mountain did business with the Wang family, the Qin family was the middleman, and the two families had a good relationship. However, when Wang Daoyuan was the administrator, the Qin family wasn't the first to support him, so Wang Daoyuan didn't treat the Qin family as his confidants. The Qin family didn't have a share in the small stewards of the palaces. Now Qin Bingda was crying and kneeling in front of Gu Wangzong. He didn't know what he had done. Seeing Wang Daoyuan come in, Gu Wangzong cupped his hands and said, "Administrator Wang, the Qin family did business with the Green Willow province, which violated the rules of the Netherworld sect. According to the rules of the sect, the Qin family should be exterminated. What do you think, Administrator?" Hearing this, Qin Bingda was almost scared to death. He kowtowed and begged for mercy. Wang Daoyuan said, "5th great-uncle, take Qin Bingda out. I have something to talk to Deputy Sect Master Gu." 5th great-uncle took Qin Bingda out. Wang Daoyuan found a place to sit down and asked, "You can't do business with the Green Willow province." This is the order of the guardian of Qingli City hundreds of years ago. It doesn't affect the administrator's mansion. The administrator's mansion has full authority to manage the affairs of South Yen County. This small matter is still within my jurisdiction. Even if you want to punish, I will do it. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't use the Qin family as an excuse. If you really want to punish, the sect didn't send you here. Gu Wangzong smiled and said, "The administrator is really smart. I didn't come for the Qin family, but for the administrator's mansion. After all, the Green Willow Province is a remnant of the Zhao family. It's not good to do business with them so blatantly. In the past year, the administrator's mansion has done business with the Green Willow Province and made a lot of spirit stones. Hearing this, he understood that the administrator was coveting this business. He used the Qin family as an excuse to beat him and ask for some benefits. Naturally, he wouldn't be fooled. The Qin family did business with the Green Willow Province behind the administrator's mansion's back. Even if the Netherworld sect didn't do anything, he would still punish them severely. Wang Daoyuan replied, "You should know very well how many rogue cultivators there are in the Green Willow Province. Once a beast tide happens, they will be the first line of defense of South Yen County. I sell things there to use the rogue cultivators to consume the demonic beasts. As for the remnant of the Zhao family, the Shi family doesn't even have a Zifu realm cultivator. What can they do? In the past year, I have only earned 200,000 to 300,000 spirit stones from there. The sect can casually develop a few industries and earn it back. Why would the sects want to snatch such a small profit?" Wang Daoyuan said it out loud, so Gu Wangzong didn't hide it anymore. The sect needs spirit stones to maintain itself. There are so many people in the sect who rely on spirit stones to support themselves. 200,000 to 300,000 spirit stones isn't a small amount. The sect master and the grand elders mean that the South Yen County can do business freely, but the sect will take half of the profits. Wang Daoyuan slapped the table and stood up. "In your dreams. I put in effort, but you don't do anything. You want to take advantage of the situation? I don't want to do this business anymore. The resources can be sold to the north of the mountain. The sect can do the business of the Green Willow Province itself." The Netherworld sect's reputation wasn't very good. They had been raising the Green Willow Province and the surrounding families like pigs. No matter how good the conditions were, the Green Willow Province didn't dare to do business with them. Gu Wangzong was also afraid of breaking up. Even if Wang Daoyuan didn't sell it openly, he could sell it secretly. At that time, the sect wouldn't get a single spirit stone benefit. He smiled and said, "How about 30%? He turned and was about to walk out, but Gu Wangzong immediately stopped him. 20%? Daoyuan was still unmoved. Gu Wangzong gritted his teeth and said, 10% should be enough. It can't be lower. Wang Daoyuan looked at him with disdain. "I don't understand. You people are so stupid. How did the sect survive for thousands of years? Seeing a good business, you only want to take advantage of it and make the business impossible. There are at least 200,000 rogue cultivators in the Green Willow Province. So many people, how many resources do they need to consume? The resources that my South Yen County can provide now can't even fill 10% of the demand. You don't want to make the business big, you just want to get benefits for free. If you want to get benefits, do this business together and earn spirit stones together. You want to get benefits from me for free? No way." Chapter 529. When Gu Wangzong heard Wang Daoyuan say that they could do business together, he became interested and hurriedly asked, "Administrator, please tell me, how can we earn spirit stones together?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "Just by looking at the clear glass market, I know that you don't know how to do business. The combined business of the left and right markets for a year can't compare to the old market for a day. I think the business of the shops in the other markets should be about the same. The sect's income should be from taxes and the production and sale of the phase produced by the various industries. The various resources produced can't be consumed by themselves, but there is no place to sell them. I don't know if I'm right?" The three major sects were all the same. After defeating the Zhao clan, they didn't know what their surname was. They were arrogant and domineering, forced people to buy and sell, and even directly took away the shops with good business. Now that their reputation has been ruined, no one is willing to do business with them. What he said was the truth, and Gu Wangzong couldn't refute it. He could only nod helplessly. Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "You can sell a large number of resources to the affiliated forces and let the affiliated forces sell them. For example, the sect can sell the resources to me, and I can sell them to the Green Willow province. In this way, the sect can sell the resources, and I can also make some spirit stones. Everyone can make money, and the business can last. I'm only telling you this, we can be considered old friends. If it's the Luo brothers, I'm too lazy to care about them. This last sentence was to test Gu Wangzong, to see if the four local families were on the same side. When Gu Wangzong heard the last sentence, his eyes clearly showed a bright light. Wang Daoyuan knew in his heart that Gu Wangzong and the Luo family were not on good terms. Where there were people, there would be conflicts. An evil sect like the Netherworld sect would definitely not be harmonious internally. The Wang family was now the master of a region. If they wanted to develop and grow, it was best to slowly weaken the Netherworld sect and make room for their own development. This process could only be done step by step and could not be too drastic. Otherwise, the Netherworld sect would fall quickly, and the Wang family would not grow. At that time, the Wang family would face the suppression of the Thousand Spirit sect and the cruel Sun Palace, and their days would be even more difficult than now. The best way to weaken the Netherworld sect was to stir up internal conflicts. Out of the other 5 supreme elders of the Underworld sect, 2 of them were from the Luo family, while the Gu family only had 1 supreme elder. In addition to Luo Hongming and Gu Wangzong, the golden core cultivators of the 2 families were 3 against 2. In the future, Luo Hongming might form his gold core. At that time, Gu Wangzong would be even less of a match. If he wanted them to fight to their heart's content, he had to support the weak. For example, this business deal with Gu Wangzong would increase the Netherworld sect's financial resources. Gu Wangzong had made a great contribution, and his prestige would definitely increase greatly. At that time, the supreme elders of the Ming family and the Zhong family might also support Gu Wangzong. This way, the strength of both sides would be on par, and the Wang clan would be able to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. After listening to Wang Daoyuan's words, Gu Wangzong pondered for a long time before replying, "The administrator's proposal is worth a try, but how do you calculate the purchase price?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "Naturally, according to the market price." Gu Wangzong laughed and said, "Administrator, this is a bit unkind. As far as I know, the materials you sold to the Green Willow province were 50% higher than the market price." Wang Daoyuan sneered, "You are quite well informed, but I can get such a high price because I have the ability. If you have the ability to sell things at this price, I have no objection." Gu Wangzong had no way to refute. After being stunned for a long time, he said, "More or less, I am under the orders of the sect master and the supreme elders. If I go back like this, it will be difficult to explain." Wang Daoyuan replied, "For the sake of our friendship, I can raise it by 10%. The highest is only this much." Gu Wangzong gritted his teeth and said, "In the 4 markets under your jurisdiction, there are many shops of the sect. When I came, the sect master and the supreme elders also said that they can give these shops to you in exchange for some shares. All the shops of the sect in the 100 Spirit Mountain Market, Qingli Market, and Golden Goose City can all be given to you. In the Guiyan Market, the sect has more than 200 shops, half of which can be given to you. It's just that the purchase price of the resources has to be 30% higher than the market price." These shops were not very useful to Wang Daoyuan. A force in the same market only needed a few shops. It was meaningless to have too many. In any market, the Divine Weapon Pavilion had at most 1 shop, and its business was not bad. These shops were only used to recruit rogue cultivators or reward meritorious subordinates. The rest was to increase some taxes. After all, when these shops were in the hands of the Netherworld sect, he could not collect taxes. Wang Daoyuan shook his head, "These shops don't have much business, and their value is not great. I can take these shops, but the price can only be raised by 10%. I can buy them at 20% higher than the market price. If you are willing, we will do this business. If not, then we will go our separate ways." Gu Wangzong pondered for a while before replying, "I have no objection, but I need to report to the sect master and the grand elders. Whether it can be done or not, it depends on the sect master and the grand elders. After that, he left the Guiyan market on a cloud. After sending Gu Wangzong away, Wang Daoyuan asked the fifth granduncle to bring Qin Bingda in. Qin Bingda's face was full of horror, thinking that a disaster was coming. The Kong family of the messy stone peak was not far from the Qin family's thick earth peak. He had seen clearly how the Kong clan had been destroyed. Wang Daoyuan ordered the patriarchs of the various families to come to the governor's mansion for a discussion. The Kong family, Huifeng Valley, and the other three families only happened a year ago. The other families did not dare to disobey Wang Daoyuan's orders. In less than half a day, all the patriarchs of the families arrived. Wang Daoyuan said, "The vice-sect master of the Netherworld sect, Gu Wangzong, just left. This time, he was here to denounce them. The Qin family did business with the Green Willow region and broke the rules of the Netherworld sect. According to the old rules, the Qin family will be exterminated. I saved the Qin family. After all, it is a family under my command. If there is a mistake, I will punish it. I won't hide it from you. The governor's mansion is doing business with the Green Willow region, and the sect also knows. Under the pressure of the Netherworld sect, I negotiated the business with the Green Willow region. You want to eat the ready-made food, how dare you? Follow the governor's mansion, I eat the meat, and you can drink the soup. But don't think about snatching the meat from my bowl. From now on, the governor's mansion will buy resources from the various families and add 10% on the basis of the current market price. This is the soup for you. Those who do business in the Green Willow region, quickly wipe your butt clean. If anyone dares to snatch the meat, the Kong family will be the example. The Qin family will be fined 50,000 spirit stones. I will still treat you the same in the future. Okay, you can all go." The other families heard Wang Daoyuan's words and breathed a sigh of relief. This fire did not burn their heads, and they also got some benefits, so they left one after another. Qin Bingda felt as if he had been pardoned. He bowed deeply before leaving. After this operation, the families in South Yen County were shocked. No one dared to snatch the rice bowl from him. The business of the Green Willow region was completely in his hands. At the same time, he also got resources from the Netherworld sect. When he sold them, he only needed to pay the transportation fee and he would have a profit of 30% of the market price. The resources of South Yen County were not enough to fill the Green Willow region, but the Netherworld sect had accumulated resources for many years. It was easy to fill the Green Willow region. Wang Daoyuan could also sell the resources of the Netherworld sect to the demons and half-demons in the north of the mountain. It was not a problem to sell the resources at twice the market price. Monopolizing the business of the Green Willow region, the governor's mansion could get more than $1 million in profit every year. After solving the income problem, he could recruit people wantonly. The development of the governor's mansion was on the right track. Next, he would be busy with the family matters. The family was his foundation. Next, he had to upgrade the Jade Spring Peak Spirit Vein to the 4th level as soon as possible and restore the Myriad Water Origin formation. This would also give the 12th uncle and the others a safe place to form their core. Chapter 530. 2 days later, there was a reply from the Netherworld sect. The sect master and the grand elders all agreed to the agreement between Wang Daoyuan and Gu Wangzong. In the future, the Netherworld sect supplies would be directly sent to Qingli City by large cargo flying boats. Both sides completed the transfer of supplies in Qingli City. Wang Daoyuan was a little surprised. When did the Netherworld sect do things so happily? The Netherworld sect cultivators guarding the shops in the various markets had all received the notice and were ready to hand over the shops. The cultivators of the business department of the finance department also rushed to the various markets to take over the Netherworld sect's shops. These shops were not worth a single spirit stone in their hands, and they had to spend manpower and resources to protect them. Wang Daoyuan announced to the public that the shops in the various markets could be rented out, and rogue cultivators and families could come and rent them. The cultivators under the administration of the administrator's mansion would also reward the shops if they made great contributions. Only the shops with people doing business were valuable, whether it was rented out for rent or rewarded. As long as someone was doing business, the tax would not run away. These matters were managed by the finance department, so he did not need to worry about it. He did not go to Zhou Wan's place, as it would affect his cultivation too much. Fortunately, he had refined the spiritual fire and had enough spiritual power to nourish his 5 internal organs. Otherwise, his small body would not be able to bear it. Although the human race's reproduction speed was far faster than the divine beasts and many demon races, the higher the cultivation, the more difficult it was to give birth to children. Of course, there were gains and losses. Generally speaking, the higher the cultivation, the higher the probability of the offspring having spiritual roots, and the more talented the offspring with spiritual roots would be. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan were both golden core cultivators, and it was not easy to give birth to children. If they did not struggle for 8 to 10 years, it would probably be impossible. In the future, he had to find a brilliant dual cultivation secret method to cultivate and give birth to children. He left Qingli City and came to Qingyun Peak. Qingyun Peak was now the second core of the Wang family on the surface, only 300 to 400 miles away from Qingli City. In order to save time and transportation costs, most of the family's pills, talismans, and magic weapons were refined here, and then directly transported to Qingli City. Furthermore, the territory of the Blue Cloud Peak was much larger than that of the Jade Spring Peak. Therefore, there were many cultivators and ordinary clansmen living here. Wang Daoyuan had stayed here for a few years when he first took back the Blue Cloud Peak. Since there was a cave abode here, he could use it to improve his attainments in array formations. When he arrived at Qingyun Peak, he found that Zhao Yang and little uncle Wang Shouzhe were also there. The two of them brought half of the cultivators from the artifact forging hall and the array formation hall to refine a tier 3 low-grade flying warship. Back when Wang Daoyuan was forging the flying warship in the underworld sect, he had his doppelganger record the forging methods of all the components of the warship. He had already handed these things over to his family. Zhao Yang and Wang Shouzhe were not trying to cross the river by feeling their way around. After the two of them reached the 3rd level in refining and array formation, they began to find time to refine some of the flying warship's side plates, ribs, and other non-core components. Now, the Wang family did not lack 3rd-tier lower-grade materials. Apart from the miscellaneous refining materials they had obtained from doing business with the Green Willow Island, they also had the iron steel Oregon. There was also the star steel vein in the Golden Tiger Mountain. If they dug deeper, they would often find low-grade tier 3 star steel ores. Although they did not accumulate much 3rd-tier lower-grade star steel, it was still enough to refine a few flying warships. Zhao Yang and Wang Shouzhe had refined many flying warships over the years and cooperated quite well. With rich experience and the forging methods given by Wang Daoyuan, the two of them were able to refine the core of the flying warship, but the chances of failure were a bit high. Star steel could be reforged many times, so it did not matter if it failed. Even if it could not be used to refine the core components, it could be used to refine ordinary components. The most troublesome thing for the two of them was the dragon bone. Although the core components were more complicated, they could be divided into many parts and refined separately, so the difficulty was relatively low. The dragon bone was a whole and needed to be formed in one go. For the two of them, it was very difficult. Since Wang Daoyuan was here, they naturally would not let go of this opportunity to ask for advice. Since there were more than a dozen second-tier refiners and array masters here, Wang Daoyuan taught them how to refine the dragon bone on the spot. Refining the dragon bone was also helpful to improve the level of array masters, so Wang Daoyuan simply demonstrated how to refine it on the spot. With his early golden core cultivation base, coupled with the strength of his divine sense that surpassed his peers, refining a 3rd-tier lower-grade dragon bone was no pressure at all. If he really wanted to pursue speed, he could refine the entire dragon bone in a day or two. Of course, his goal was to show the refining method to the family's disciples, not just to pursue speed. It took half a month to refine a single dragon bone, so the clansmen could clearly see every step of the process. Then, he let Zhao Liang and Wang Shouja start refining. Wang Daoyuan guided them from the side and explained the key points of every step to the younger generation. After more than 20 days, the two of them finally worked together to refine a dragon bone. Now that they had 2 dragon bones, they could refine 2 flying warships, enough to keep them busy for a few years. Wang Daoyuan no longer cared about them and returned to his cave abode to improve the level of array masters. Ordinary array masters improved the level of array masters by finding a piece of material and trying to inscribe a higher level array pattern. However, Wang Daoyuan did not want to waste time. There was no essential difference between a 3rd-tier lower grade and a 3rd-tier middle grade array master, and the difference in array patterns was also very small. A 3rd-tier middle grade array master only consumed more divine sense when inscribing array patterns. With his cultivation base and divine sense, this was not a problem. He chose to refine a 3rd-tier middle grade flying warship directly. Not only could he improve the level of refining in array masters, but he could also refine a flying warship to strengthen the family. The material was also easy to solve. He just needed to use a 3rd-tier lower grade star steel. A 3rd-tier lower grade material could be used to refine a 3rd-tier middle grade artifact, but the requirements for the tool pattern were higher. This was a piece of cake. Any 3rd-tier middle grade artifact master with a bit of skill could do it. He took some star steel from Zhaoliang and tried to refine the core component of the flying warship. Previously, he had refined a 4th-tier life-bound artifact, the Kirin seal. The requirements for a life-bound artifact were not high. This was because the most difficult part of refining was inscribing the tool pattern. Once there was a major mistake in the tool pattern, the artifact would be wasted. And the tool pattern of a life-bound artifact was condensed with the power of divine sense. If there was a mistake, it could be redone. No matter how many times it was repeated, it would not affect the artifact itself. As long as he could temper the materials and forge the artifact into shape, there was no possibility of failure when refining a life-bound artifact. It was only a temporary failure. Previously, when refining life-bound artifacts, he had also accumulated a lot of valuable experience. Refining a 3rd-tier middle grade artifact was not difficult at all. Wang Daoyuan tried a few times, but he only succeeded in crafting a core component of the flying warship. After that, he used more than a year to refine a 3rd-tier middle grade flying warship. His level of array formation also steadily rose to 3rd-tier middle grade. Zhao Liang and Wang Shouja also successfully refined a 3rd-tier lower grade flying warship. Since the flying warship was successfully refined, it naturally had to do some flight tests. This thing could not be hidden from others. Soon, the news that the Wang family had built a flying warship was known by the underworld sect. Luo Jiuyo, that guy, worked hard to suppress Gu Wangzong. When he encountered a difficult problem, he would throw it to Gu Wangzong. This time, he came to question Wang Daoyuan again why he violated the underworld sect's ban and privately built a flying warship. Wang Daoyuan had already thought of an excuse. Luo Jiuyo had released all the restrictions on flying warships, which naturally included the restrictions on modification. When Gu Wangzong came to question him, Wang Daoyuan refuted righteously, "How can you accuse me based on nothing?" The sect master made a promise to release all the restrictions on flying warships. What's wrong with me modifying it? I modified it based on the flying warship. This is clearly a combat flying warship. How can you say it's a flying warship? Gu Wangzong was also speechless. Everyone knew that the flying warship was modified based on the flying warship. There was a flaw in Luo Jiuyo's promise that Wang Daoyuan caught. There was no way to reason with him. Chapter 531. Gu Wangzong held back for a long time before he forced a smile and said, "Administrator, you should limit them more or less. If you want to refine flying warships without any restrictions, the sect will have no choice but to take action." Wang Daoyuan didn't want to confront the Netherworld sect either. Although the Netherworld sect didn't dare to deal with him openly, their ability to play tricks and trip him up was still very strong. If they really fought behind the scenes, the administrator's mansion wouldn't be able to outlast the Netherworld sect. Wang Daoyuan didn't want to secretly backstab the Netherworld sect all day long. He wanted to boil the frog in warm water and slowly get rid of the Netherworld sect. Compared to the Luo family, Gu Wangzong could be said to be one of the few honest people in the local branch. As an honest person, Wang Daoyuan knew him very well. The flying warships refined by the Wang family had already crossed the bottom line of the Netherworld sect. Since he had said so, he had to make some concessions. Wang Daoyuan asked with a smile, "How do you want to limit it, Vice Sect Master? Do you want to limit the number, size, and speed?" Sect Master said before that there are no restrictions on flying warships. Isn't a flying warship also a flying warship? Gu Wangzong replied, "Every time the Wang family refines 2 combat airships, they must sell one to the sect at the price of 400,000 spirit stones each." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "Selling 1 warship to the sect for every 2 warships refined is no problem, but the price is not appropriate. The raw material cost of a 3rd-rank low-grade flying warship is more than 200,000 spirit stones. It takes a 3rd-rank array master and a 3rd-rank craftsman to inscribe array patterns and tool patterns on a flying warship for 2 years. If you ask them to refine ordinary 3rd-rank magic tools and array discs, they can earn at least 300,000 spirit stones in 2 years. Adding the tempering materials and forging work, the labor cost is close to 400,000 spirit stones. A flying warship can only be sold for 600,000 spirit stones to ensure that it won't suffer a loss. According to the price you gave, I have to pay 200,000 spirit stones for refining 2 warships?" Gu Wangzong ridiculed, "Administrator, you're talking about the price of a flying warship. I thought the flying warship was different. How does the administrator intend to sell it? Give me the details." Wang Daoyuan was thick-skinned and didn't care about the sarcasm in the slightest. He replied, "The cost of a flying battleship isn't lower than a flying battleship. Each one costs at least 600,000 spirit stones. Furthermore, my Wang family is lacking in manpower, and we don't have many Tier 3 materials, so it's impossible for us to refine them in large quantities. How about this? I can sell the flying ships to the sect at a cost price of 600,000 spirit stones per ship." However, there were 2 conditions. First, the Wang clan had to have more than 10 combat airships before they could start selling them. Secondly, the sect wants to sell our Wang family Tier 3 crafting materials, but the Wang family's Tier 3 crafting materials are not enough. If you agree, then there's no problem. If you don't, then there's nothing I can do. Gu Wangzong thought for a while and said, "There's no problem with the first condition. The price is fair. As for the second condition, the sect is very strict with the 3rd-tier refining materials, so I don't dare to make the decision. I need to return to the sect and discuss this matter with the sect leader and the grand elders." Wang Daoyuan did not expect the Netherworld sect to agree to the second condition. After all, these local guys were not fools. If the Wang family was given enough Tier 3 crafting materials, then it would really be difficult to restrict the Wang family. The Tier 3 mineral veins in the entire Zhao country had long been controlled by the 3 major sections. The Wang family developed the Fallen Dragon Ridge and did not find any Tier 3 mineral veins. Now they could only rely on the Green Willow Island and Shanbei to obtain sporadic Tier 3 materials. These sporadic materials were not a problem to refine ordinary magic tools, but it was really not enough to refine a large magic tool like the flying warship. The Wang family did not have enough materials to refine 10 flying warships in a short time, so the Netherworld sect could drag it out first. Wang Daoyuan was not in a hurry. The number of Tier 3 craftsmen and array masters in his family was seriously insufficient. It would take at least 10 or 20 years to refine 10 flying warships, so he was not in a hurry for the time being. This negotiation did not have any specific results. It was just a mutual declaration. Both sides knew in their hearts that there would be no conflicts in the future. After chatting for a while, Gu Wangzong left. Wang Daoyuan also returned to the Clear Sky Peak and continued to study arrays. The 2 flying warships had been tested and there were no problems in all aspects. The only thing left was to install some offensive and defensive magic tools. Wang Daoyuan had a crafting legacy in his hands, but he did not have enough crafting materials. Especially for the magic tools installed on the flying warships, most of the materials were strange. Rather than wasting effort to collect materials, it was better to buy them from the Divine Weapon Pavilion. With his status as a guest elder of the Divine Weapon Pavilion and Lei Yanjinren's disciple, it was not a problem for the Wang family to get some discounts. There was no need for him to do this. He could just let Zhao Liang do it. Refining the flying warships was the most cost-effective way to practice arrays. There were still some Tier 3 materials. During the Golden Core ceremony, the Divine Weapon Pavilion gave him 5,000 caddies of Tier 3 materials. These materials were definitely not enough to refine an entire high-grade Tier 3 flying warship. But it was more than enough to refine the dragon bones and the core of the warship. Master should have guessed that he would refine the flying warships, so these materials were all non-elemental. As for the ship's ribs, side plates, and the like, they could do without Tier 3 materials. Using Tier 3 materials to refine a Tier 3 upper magic tool was the limit of crafting. Even Tier 4 craftsmen did not have full confidence. Wang Daoyuan did not have that confidence. Using the smelting method to refine the essence of Tier 3 upper materials and fuse it into Tier 3 lower star steel could make its strength reach the level of Tier 3 middle materials. It would not be difficult to refine a high-grade Tier 3 magic artifact with middle-grade Tier 3 materials. When he went out to travel, he collected a lot of Tier 3 upper materials. His family had done business with the oasis for more than 100 years and had collected some. To refine a Tier 3 upper flying warship, he could still barely gather the materials. However, Wang Daoyuan did not rashly start refining the flying warship. After all, his crafting level was still a little short of Tier 3 upper. First, he used those materials that were not suitable for refining the flying warship. He could refine some magic tools first. His divine sense was strong enough, and his foundation was solid enough. In a month's time, he successfully refined a Tier 3 upper magic tool. After another half a year of practice, he could use Tier 2 middle materials to refine a Tier 2 upper magic tool. Then, it was time to refine the warship core. The Tier 3 upper material given by the Divine Weapon Pavilion was called Silver Light Mysterious Iron, which was also a non-elemental material. It was best to use non-elemental materials to refine the core and dragon bones of the flying warship. A flying warship refined in this way could be matched with a magic tool of the 5 elements. Otherwise, the set of offensive and defensive magic tools would be relatively simple. For example, a flying warship refined with blood fire hibiscus could only be equipped with a fire attribute magic tool. When encountering a water attribute cultivator of the same level, it would be completely suppressed. The strength of the Silver Light Mysterious Iron was still very high and could be directly used to refine offensive and defensive magic tools. If he could completely use this thing to refine a flying warship, it would not be a problem to fight against several peak Zifu realm cultivators. It was just that the cost was too high. Wang Daoyuan did not care about this and directly started refining the flying warship core. After using a month's time, he finally succeeded in refining a core component. This also meant that his formation skills had reached Tier 3 upper. After that, he used 2 years to refine a 30-meter-long third-grade flying warship. After testing, there was no problem with this flying warship. If it was equipped with offensive and defensive magic tools, it could definitely fight a peak Zifu realm cultivator head-on. If he was not afraid of using up spirit stones, its speed could also reach 6,000 miles in 2 hours, which was faster than most peak Zifu realm cultivators flying on their swords. Wang Daoyuan's formation skills had reached Tier 3 upper. He could set up a Tier 3 upper, spirit nurturing formation. With the spirit nurturing formation, he could fuse sufficient spirit vein origin into the spirit vein. After nourishing it for a period of time, it would be possible to upgrade the spirit vein. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.